close to 80 degrees. Appreciate you all tuning in, wherever you're tuning in on Big 12 Now and ESPN Plus. Akbayani against Willis to lead it off here at the top of the first. And the first pitch from Willis in the Space U jerseys. There's the ball, 1-0 the count. It's a 1-0 the count there to Ailana Akbayani, the sophomore. He's got an 11-game hitting streak. The 1-0 pitch from Willis. Low and in, 2-0 the count. Matt Johnson's your home plate umpire with Brandon Bloom at first. Todrick Davis is at third. BYU in their whites with the blue letters and numbers. UCF, as I mentioned, the Space U jerseys.
I know they do look kind of similar out there, obviously opposite colors, but all the blue is kind of throwing me off a bit.
There's a strike, 2-1 the count.
And when you talked to Coach Paul Malone about Sarah Willis' start on Thursday night, Eric, she was just talking about just a couple of missed pitches, which is where the Cougar offense really took advantage, but just wanting Sarah to get in the groove a little bit quicker in today's start.
And she's fallen behind Akbayani. Remember, Akbayani got on against Willis in that first inning on Thursday night and eventually scored on the Hunter Ava RBI single that gave BYU a 1-0 lead. Of course, this is the second start of the weekend for Willis. Third appearance of the week if you go back to Tuesday when she got the win in relief against North Florida in game 1 of that doubleheader. And she walks Akbayani here to start the game like she did on Thursday. Akbayani, who's among the nation's best in getting on base, does exactly that. She came into this week 22nd in the country in on base. Look at the Knights defense. There's Chloe Evans at right field with Janisha Rowe at center. Stormy Kotzon again the start at left with Humphreys at third, Jazz Williams at short, Aubrey Evans at second, Shannon Doherty at first, and Jada Cody catching for the second straight game. Maddie Bejarano, the nation's leader in sack bunts, takes ball one. 1-0 the count. She had a sacrifice yesterday. Leads the nation with 16. Came into the week 26 in the country in on-base percentage, .524. 1-0 pitch. She takes a strike, and it's 1-1.
And if I'm a BYU hitter right now, I'm watching the tendencies of Sarah Willis. Again, we've talked so much about information and how equipped these hitters come into the series, especially every single game, just knowing what their opposing pitcher is going to throw. But today you have to also assess the game and performance of the pitcher, because sometimes the information that you get and what they're doing looks a little different.
She squared to bunt as Akbayani was going, but it was fouled. And it's 1-2 the count to Maddie Bejarano, who will be walking in a couple weeks. They graduate. Graduations in 2 weeks up at BYU.
And that sacrifice bunt attempt just going to hit the home plate, bounce backwards. Good heads-up play by Jada Cody.
1-2. Oh, Cody looked back and said, thought that was a strike. Didn't, but it's a ball. 2-2. They were trying to paint the outside corner there on Bejarano. Of course, Cody and Bejarano know each other very well from being teammates since Cody was a freshman in 2020. The 2-2. Outside 3-2.
And when I started to talk about information and looking at what the pitcher is throwing, you know that Sarah Willis has that rise ball up in the zone. She's going to be a high velo kid, upper 60s, 71 or so, but then mixes that changeup in so consistently. And right now she's having to go to that changeup a lot, especially when she's getting behind in the count. We're seeing that be her go-to pitch so far in just 2 batters.
The payoff pitch. Bejarano pops it up foul territory, but it'll be out of the reach of Kotsonek and Humphreys.
Just letting that changeup work out of the hand. Just kind of the floater through the zone, too. More of the flip change type of approach.
Now head coach Cindy Ballmore coming out here to have a word with Brandon Bloom, the crew chief. And they're going to challenge a play here.
The play under further review.
That would be my assumption. Would probably be leaving the runner early, I would assume, by Agbayani. We'll see. You can challenge whether a runner left early. Clearly, that's a challenge issued by Coach Paul Malone. Let's take a look here if we see anything notably.
It's so tough to try to ask.
It's got to be, there's no other thing you can challenge, I think, there. It's either did she leave early or not. I don't know if she did. I don't know if there's anything conclusive there.
Yeah, the only other thing you could possibly look at is whether or not the hitter is leaving the batter's box when swinging. But even there, Bejarano did a good job keeping her feet in, right? But sometimes lefties have a tendency to go over the plate more when taking their swing. But Bejarano does a good job staying in the box.
So while we wait, interesting time. I think we expect nothing will change here. I think they're going to stay with the call. Let's take another look, see if we see anything notably. Did Agbayani leave early? Did Maddie maybe leave early in the box? You're saying no.
I don't think so. I don't think it's conclusive enough to make that decision that she did.
Yeah.
Especially when you have base runners that start with a foot.
I'm glad you've learned my vocabulary of conclusive. That's my go-to. Oh, they're going to say she's out. They did say she left. Well, Alex, this is why we're not in the crew. No, I thought I didn't know if it was conclusive enough, but I guess they apparently did. So that's a huge, big challenge win for Coach Paul Malone. Wow.
That is, and I couldn't even help my reaction. I think I just gave.
We'll take another look at it here after this pitch. We'll see.
Interesting.
So now with one out, payoff pitch to Maddie B. And that's a walk. And how big now is that challenge? Instead of first and second, it's runner at first and one out. Maddie gets on. Here's the last play. Did Agbayani leave early? So watch when Willis releases the ball.
I'm going to sit here and say I don't know. And typically I'm pretty good at having a bit. Interesting. I'll leave it at that.
This is where I say Violet Zavachnik at the plate takes a strike, 0-1 the count. So you got Maddie Bay. Believe it or not, it's not tried to steal this year. Wow, that surprises me. Because she's always been a very good base runner. Zavachnik at the plate. Fouls it back. 0-2, but that's a good challenge, though, by Coach Paul. They obviously saw something, and it worked. And now 0-2 the count to Zavachnik, hitting .410, 7 homers, 27 RBI. See, this is why we're in this booth, Alex. We just call what the game itself. We'll let the others figure out the rest.
I'll take this side for sure.
0-2 the count. It's in the dirt. Good block by Cody.
Were you surprised at all, Eric, to see Jada Cody getting a start behind the dish again?
You know, with her, nothing surprises me anymore. I just keep looking for her. I know, yeah, it's interesting that she's catching Willis to start this game. Normally, you have Ashley Griffin or maybe Carson Fryer, but I also think they want to get a little more extra offense there because you got Stormy at left, you've got Humphreys at third, and Sona today is starting at DP, so it gives you some versatility. That's the beauty of having a player like Cody. You have a lot of options. 1-2 is missed high, 2-2.
I agree, and I think it was more of a lineup decision as opposed to a defensive decision. You look, and typically you have coaches that start the game with your best offensive lineup, and then throughout the game, of course, you're making those defensive shifts. So Sona Halajan has been a big contributor as of late in the box, but also somebody who can go out in the circle and get a couple of innings if she needs to.
2-2 is low in the dirt, ball 3. Of course, Cody was a unanimous first-team all-conference performer last year in the American as a catcher. She's such a magnificent catcher, but then there's the fine line of keeping her rested and certainly keeping her fresh, playing left or third, and that's why you've seen her play all over the place. The 3-2 pitch by Willis. Zavachnik fouls it off. Well, BYU's done a good job so far working the count against Willis. Cody, who has started in a career at catching, third base, left field, first base, and as she reminded me last night, having the postgame, she's also started at second base. She can play second if need to. Okay, 3-2 the count is Zavachnik with Bejarano at first. That's ball 4 and a walk. 3 walks in the inning by Willis. Bullpen is up, by the way, for the Knights. Have been up since the review. And let's take a look here at the last pitch from Willis.
See Sarah Willis trying to work different sides of the plate. This one missing up in the zone. She's been missing a bit more lateral, about 6 pitches per batter so far.
Hunter Ava pops it up, foul off the net towards third base, and it's 0-1. So the Knights got the bullpen up and running. Grace Jewell warming up, and it looks like perhaps Cochran warming up. With Ava, who's in the top 8 in the country and runs batted in. With 2 on, 1 out here in the top of the first. That's outside for a ball. Right now, Will is just trying to find this consistent strike zone right now. It's a 1-1 the count. Ava fouls it back to our right, and it's 1-2. We did get it confirmed. That's what there was. The runner leaving early, Akbani. They determined she was conclusive enough. That's my favorite word now.
I told you before, I think I try to go sometimes the criminal route when I think of
you do have a background as an attorney.
Right?
Yeah, you have
just some legal stuff, I guess, in the background.
What was it, your master's?
It was a master's in law.
Master's degree in law.
Definitely not an attorney, but hey, I can read some contracts and the legal jargon, but my head always goes to beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm like, oh my gosh, Alex, it's
so the word conclusive.
Super brutal.
There you go. Now you know.
Conclusive's, I think, way more appropriate for a ball field.
1-2 the count to Ava. 2-2. What are you seeing right now from Willis?
Willis is just missing right outside the zone. I mean, I do think your home plate umpire, Matt Johnson, has a pretty tight hitter's zone right now, and some of those pitches are absolutely missing up, but I would still like to go back and see a couple that I felt like were really good pitches and 2 strike counts, but Sarah Willis is just getting too deep in every batter.
2-2 pitch. Change up. Diving play by Humphreys, who touches the bag at third for an out. Oh, they're going to say foul. They're going to say foul ball. What an effort, though, by Humphreys. That was a big break for BYU because that could have been
They're doing a good job getting her hands extended on this pitch. Change up. It's the right call. That one bounced fair, but then by the time it got over the bag, definitely was tailing foul. Good grab by Humphreys, though.
And Ava hits that changeup to left, but Kotzelnik is there. Wind blowing in a little bit and left as Ava is retired for the second out of the inning. 2 gone. Big out to get Ava. Let's take a look at a previous pitch here to Maddie Bejarano.
And we talk about the umpires squeezing the zone. This one was a 2-strike pitch there. I thought that pitch was beautifully located on the outside corner. And you see Jada Cody just stuck it. Conversations that need to be happening between Cody and Johnson right now behind the dish, saying, hey, what are you looking for?
That is great point. That's part of the catcher's role, is to kind of figure out what the strike zone is and kind of have, the pitchers,
right.
From that standpoint.
Well, you've got to be talking the game the whole time, and that's exactly what Cody should be relaying to Sarah Willis of, hey, like, you're just missing it and bring it back in just a little bit.
Lily Owens at the plate with a 1-0 count. It's low and outside. That wasn't either close. 2-0.
But this is where Sarah Willis has to make those pitches close enough to have that conversation, right? The last couple missing well out of the zone. You want to be able to, if you're going to have some conversation and try to make an argument for yourself, got to bring it back in.
2 balls, no strikes, the count. There's a strike. It's 2-1. You got Maddie Bejarano at second base with Violet Zavachnik at first. 3 walks in the inning. 2 outs. The 2-1 pitch. There's a strike, 2-2. So 2-2 the count. Let's take a look at the last pitch.
And this pitch on the other side off the plate, I think that one was more off the plate than the potential strike 3 to Bejarano, but hey, Sarah Willis will take it.
Owens lines to third, caught by Humphreys to retire the side. Sarah Willis works around 3 walks as BYU strands 2. We head to the bottom of the first. Knights coming to the plate. With Jada Coda hitting in the 3 spot. Chloe Evans at cleanup. Sona probably not getting the start, hitting in the DP spot, hitting 5th. Sierra Humphreys hitting 6th with Stormy Kotzelnick at left field hitting 7th. Aubrey Evans at second base will hit 8th. Jazz Williams will hit 9th for the Knights. And they will see Chloe Temples, the senior who came in relief on Thursday and gets the ball here for Gordon Eakin in this Saturday afternoon game 3.
Chloe Temples coming from the left side, going to just already have that different type of look. But we've seen a couple pitchers on this BYU pitching staff with that lefty look.
And speaking of which, we're seeing the 5 infield defensive alignment here against Rowe with Agbayani, Alai Agbayani, who is starting at right field now at shortstop. That's the difference because Lily Owens is starting today at third base. So you've got you got 2 Agbayanis back next to each other. The Agbayani sisters are next to each other right now. The 0-1 is missed there for a ball. 1-1 the count. How about that? How often have we seen that before? The twins, the sisters there, Ilana and Alea, right there. With Ilana more towards third base. Meanwhile, the count is 2-1 to Janisha Rowe, who's got to, if nothing else, feel real confident. The fact that, hey, guys are so scared of me, you got to go 5 infielders on me. The 2-1 pitch. Tries to bunt, and it's foul. Wonder if Janisha's passed this along to her relative, Dee Gordon, former Major League Baseball player. Not sure if Dee Gordon saw too many defensive alignments like this in his Major League Baseball career.
Well, probably not, especially now with all the different rules that they have with the shifts and where you can't and can go. And the game of professional baseball has definitely changed because the information has been so big. And right there you see the 2 Agbayani sisters up the middle on the left side of second base.
I hope for the Agbayani family, somebody's taking a photo of this. It's pretty cool to see the sisters there right next to each other. With Owens at third. And Udall at first. Rowe hits it to Agbayani, who will throw to first, and it works. For the second time in this series, Rowe grounds out to the right fielder. 1 gone here in the first. That is pretty good. And actually, it wasn't Agbayani there this time that the ball was hit. It was actually Kamuku who was playing more that time. So Kamuku was at second. Agbayani is, though, at right field. Zavachnik at center. Bejarano at left.
I can't help
Owens
but laugh.
at third, and Avad first, and Simmons at catcher. It's a lot of infielders to keep up.
You know what it is, and they all move so fast.
They move each pitch. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Too.
But it does really work their way. I mean, that's a really
Agbayani
strategic move.
So Alana stayed more towards second.
Correct.
So yeah, because Owens, when she came in, would play more towards short. That's interesting. They changed that.
Well, I'm sure it's because, too, of just probably the athleticism. And so when you have Kamoku, who's currently playing second, kind of really just more of that infielder feel, right? But right now you've got Lily Owens, also an infielder. Agbayani, Aaliyah Agbayani, is not necessarily an infielder. So she's going to keep that outfield concept, play second base, stay on the same side of the field. It's an interesting thing.
You and Gordon Eakin, way smarter than me. Clearly,
no,
you guys are ahead. I didn't think of that. You figured it out. I did not. I was thinking of the family story angle there. And I got caught.
I think it's really just move of, hey, where's the ball more typically hit? Probably up the middle, right? And Lily Owens is
that's a great point.
Consistent
That's a great
infielder.
point. You're right. Doherty at the plate, 1-2 count, hits a fly ball to shallow right. And the catch is made by Akbayani for the second out of the inning.
Exactly.
Now she made a play. I was foreshadowing. I was telling the future.
Yeah, can you predict the future? Is that like
If I did,
a superpower?
Yeah, if I did, well.
So, yes, for everybody at home keeping a book, it is officially a ground out to second base. I was kind of waiting, like, how do we score that? Is it shortstop?
Yeah, technically it was.
Shortstop position, or is it, what is it?
Yeah. Sorry, Kayla. Jada Cody at the plate, swings and misses. Temple, a senior, started her career at Stetson. Of course, is from Florida, so it's a homecoming for her. Of course, BYU, first time they've played in Florida in years. They don't come down here often. Of course, this was the first ever meetings between the Knights and the Cougars. Of course, Cody, 1-1 the count. Third all-time in career hits, tied for the all-time lead in career doubles with 50 with Janae Shinhoster. That came in the 6th inning last night with a 2 RBI double. One and two the count. And it's low, 2-2.
And Chloe Temples in the circle for BYU is going to have a really good rise ball. Also going to mix in a great off-speed pitch, working that changeup in at any count. We saw her throw it a lot the other night too. Kind of like Sarah Willis, she'll go to it at any count because she's so confident in the ability to locate the pitch.
Cody hits a fly ball to center, playable. Zavotnik makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Temples and the Cougars here in the first. We're through one here in Orlando, no score. After throwing 135 pitches in the victory on Thursday night against this Cougar lineup, she found the way not to give up a run.
The pitch count is going to be really big for Sarah Willis. She's already getting deep into every count so far. 3 walks in that first inning. It's going to be important to see how she bounces back. Coach Bob Malone going to want her to be more efficient in the approach in the circle, save her arm as much as possible. But again, you've already won the series, right? I say you've got nothing to lose. Getting this game 3 would be big for UCF, but you really don't have anything to lose. So go right at the hitters. Let them put the ball in play and let your defense work behind you. Easier said than done, of course.
Maddie Udall leading off for the Cougars here in the second. Followed by Kayla Kamuku and then Akbayani. 6-7-8 against Willis here in the top of the second. Knights, of course, winning the first 2 games. That fouled off. Of course, still every game significant. Knights trying to move up the standings, coming in 5th place. They've clinched the tiebreaker against BYU. They have the tiebreaker against Kansas. But every game so significant. UCF unofficially coming into today 34 in the RPI. As they steadily move up. It's the 0-2. They have, as of today, the 7th strongest, toughest schedule in the country. Of course, with wins, 2 wins over Texas Tech, 2 wins over Kansas. Texas Tech, by the way, won in Waco last night, beat Baylor. Big win for Craig Snyder. And the Red Raiders, he's kind of projecting them to make the NCAA in his 2nd year as a head coach.
That would be awesome. I mean, Texas Tech is a competitive team.
Udall with a single up the middle. And a leadoff single for Udall. Of course, BYU salvaged the game against Texas Tech in their first ever Big 12 series at home on that last game of the series, winning on coming from behind.
Sarah Willis just missing this one right over the wide of the plate. Paints it on the outside corner, but too much white there. Udall taking advantage behind in the count, finding a way to get on base. I love that approach when a hitter gets behind early but still is successful. Just talks about their ability to adjust pitch to pitch, stick to the plan.
Lexi Bennett will pinch run for Udall. With Kayla now coming to the plate. The Knights bullpen has been up and running. This could be one of those games where it's staffed by committee. You start Willis, but you won't necessarily finish unless it shows otherwise. You see Grace Jewell there on the left with Angelina DeVoe on the right. Jewell and DeVoe haven't pitched yet in this series. That's a fly ball to right, but playable. Chloe Evans fighting the sun makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Bennett stays at first.
That's a good piece of hitting by Kamoku. Still barreling some balls up. And when you're looking at these pitches, that's a good job because that's not a bad pitch. That's off the plate. You can tell just from where she extended those hands and made contact. But Kamoku, just such a powerful bat. Pretty well. So let's get just a smidge deeper. I think that ball's over the head of Evans, potentially over the fence. We talk about units of measure. Is a smidge a unit of measure? Similar to maybe like a centimeter, smidge?
We could go with that.
Just like,
we could go with that.
Just a little wee bit.
Alea Agbayani, the grad senior, with a 1-0 count, takes the strike. The sister, of course, of Alana, and then, of course, played at Cal, graduated from there. Now here at BYU, getting a chance to play with her sister, which was something that Gordon Eakin talked about. Like, what an opportunity you get. Not everybody gets a chance to play with her sister. And there's a grounder to second. Aubrey will go to second. That's all they'll get. Jazz get the force out as Bennett is out at second base. Agbayani will reach on the fielder's choice with 2 outs.
And not a bad piece of hitting by Agbayani. Waited on the changeup. Aubrey Evans was shaded up the middle trying to play for that double play, but still squared that ball up. Agbayani. Evans doing a good job getting the force out, but not bad.
Macy Simmons at the plate. The senior from Chandler, Arizona, takes ball 1. 1-0 the count to Simmons. Making her 12th start of the season, hitting .235 with no homers, 4 RBIs. Was a member of the U.S. under-19 national team in 2019 that won the gold medal, in which Sydney Ball Malone was the assistant coach. That's low for a ball. In fact, Simmons had an incredible tournament there at the World Championships that was held in Irvine, California that year. Hit .750 in that tournament. So the 2-0. It's foul back, just adding another layer to all the ties that we have with these two teams. It's so fascinating. These two programs, of course, in their first year in the Big 12. You wouldn't think they have a lot in common, but they do. Both of these programs have played in different conferences. Interestingly, by the way, that's not Gordon Eakin today at third base. So an interesting adjustment there. In the coaching box. 2 balls and a strike. Simmons, it's at fault. In fact, Gordon is now at first base. Gordon Eakin's coaching first base today. Maybe he just didn't like talking to us, Alex. He decided to move the base.
No, I think he's a gamer. I think he totally wanted to just focus on the game. And, hey, you've got a lot to juggle, right? Look at all his strategic moves out there on the field, sometimes in the lineup, too. He's got a lot in his mind. I think he's just busy.
That's interesting, though, that he's flipping it to first base today. Maybe trying to change it up a little bit. 2-2. That's low, and it's full. 3-2 the count to Simmons. Agbayani at first, 2 outs. The payoff pitch. Change up, strike 3 looking frozen. First strikeout of the game for Willis. Sends us to the bottom of the second. As Willis with a vintage strikeout.
Sarah Willis continues to flip that off-speed pitch in their beautiful location. I love UCF looking to come out on top and score a couple runs.
When we say charge on, we commit. do extraordinary.
Throws to first, not in time. Chloe Evans beats it out with a bunt single against Chloe Temples.
We talk about UCF's ability to manufacture runs. Well, how about their ability to manufacture ways on base? I love Evans leveraging the short game here. Not something she does often, but she just sees a great opportunity. You've got your corners playing a bit back because...
So now Sona at the plate, getting her first start of this weekend. Takes the strike. Remember, she had drilled that double in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter last night when the Knights scored 3 runs to really add some insurance and pull away to beat BYU 9-4. She's got family in town this weekend, seeing her to play. 0-1. In fact, one of them had a beautiful floppy hat. Just like yours, the one you got. You were asking the marketing guy, can I get that Space U floppy hat?
When I got here, the first thing they said to me when I showed them my credential into the facility, they're like, make sure you get your bucket hat. I was like, oh, say less. I will absolutely. Pointed me in the direction, and of course, they just ran out. So thank you.
You're very popular.
To the UCF marketing guy who
Alex
gave me the hat.
Alex. It's Alex helping Alex.
I'm thankful.
It's in the name.
Yes. Thankful for all the Alexes out there.
Nobody asked me about if I wanted a floppy hat when I walked in.
You don't look like the floppy hat type. I don't know. Maybe it's just the look.
1-2 the count. Temple's ahead. Sona reaches forward and fouls it off. Chloe Evans 5 for 6 on the year in steals. So both teams now with a hit. Here on this Saturday afternoon. Mention Oklahoma, Texas. They're going to play in prime time tonight on ESPN. Kelly Maxwell got the win last night over Mac Morgan. 1-2. Sona pops it up. That is right going to be on top of us. Near the, our PA guy, Jacob.
He was ready.
He was ready. He's wanted to get a foul ball. That's one of his goals as the PA guy. He missed a game earlier this year, and of course there was a foul ball that went inside right where he was. Alex Prieto had the ball.
We talk about the legal background. I'm hoping that there's some good coverage and liability insurance here at the facility.
They seem more concerned about who's getting the ball, so it sounds like they're going to be fine.
Awesome.
I'm just saying. 2-2 the count. But I mentioned OU with the series win. Kansas took game 1 in Ames, Iowa against Iowa State. Oklahoma State won 3-1 in Houston. Lexi Kilfoyle was, Lexi Kilfoyle. Got the win there, 2-2. That's up and in. Oh, that hit her. It hit her. It went 2 inside. Temple's caught off guard there, and Sona gets on a hit-by pitch. It's 2 on, nobody out.
And this one from Temple's just going to go right inside and get the arm of Holligan. You also got to be thankful that that's the left arm, not the right arm, obviously, given that she can pitch.
So now that'll bring up Sierra Humphreys, hitting .369, 2 homers, 18 RBIs. Now, Gordon Eakin's going to ask about whether it hit her hand or not. We'll see if he challenges this or not. But clearly it did. There. But as while they discuss, mentioning Texas Tech beating Iowa State. Win. Let's see here. Simmons also got a piece of Simmons. Welcome to life as a catcher. Now the umpires are going to discuss it. I have a feeling this could be reviewed. Let's see if they think it's warranted of being reviewed.
It did hit the hand, though, and so I don't know that that's the question. But, we always discuss whether or not the batter has to move it, and I'm pretty certain there's not a rule anymore saying that they have to make some kind of attempt, especially when they're in the box, to get out of the way.
Another angle here.
So I'm going to come right in. No,
she leans back, so she
does.
tried. Yeah,
she does, and it actually didn't even look.
Maybe the other thing, could you challenge whether she went around? Could be the other play, but I don't think so. I think
I don't think that was believable.
I think this is going to stand. It's going to stand, I believe. But meanwhile, back to the Big 12 talk. I want to ask you about Craig Snyder. You played for Craig Snyder.
Yeah.
Second year at Texas Tech. He's building that program. Big win against Baylor. You called their game, I believe, in Tallahassee, where they nearly beat the Noles. What's your thoughts on the job he's done? And look at this Big 12. 7 teams projected to make the NCAA tournament according to D1 softball's bracketology. with UCF and Texas Tech among them.
I think, first of all, Big 12, right? We talk so much about it being just so good, such a phenomenal softball conference, arguably the best. Texas Tech, though, what Craig Snyder has been able to do in such a short amount of time is so impressive. He's somebody that comes in with so much experience at a leadership level, and the first thing he said he wanted to focus on was culture. And I just feel like when a coach comes into a program wanting to first establish the identity of a program, in my opinion, I've never led a program, but I think that is the best move possible in why a team can find success, because you don't always have to be the most talented team on the field player for player, but if you've got really good cohesion and you work together really well, you can find a lot of ways to win.
If you're wondering why Texas Tech and Iowa State only have 10 games, they had a 3-game series scheduled in Ames, Iowa that was snowed out. And I don't think it's going to get made up, which means win percentage is going to play a factor in the seeding, and that is important because, again, the top 6 seeds get the quarterfinals. As you saw the play stands, we kind of figured that. But that could be significant because, again, the top 6 don't have to play till Thursday at the Big 12 tournament. Seeds 7 to 10 have to play Wednesday. And, of course, UCF has a tiebreaker over Kansas. So if they were to catch Kansas and finish in a tie, they would have the higher seed. So now as we resume after the delay and the review, Humphreys at the plate. Squares the bunt, and it's a foul ball, and it's 0-1 the count for Sierra Humphreys. So they're trying to bunt there with 2 on, nobody out here early in the second inning for the young freshman out of Corona, California. With their father in attendance, mom back in Eugene, supporting KK Humphreys as Oregon took a tough loss against Washington last night, 8-3, in game 1 of that big series. Humphreys now swings away and fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Here's the foul tipped on the bunt.
Interesting call there. I'm curious if it really did hit anything. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You look to see if the ball changes trajectory off the bat, and I didn't see much.
Temples goes outside on Humphreys, and it's a ball, 1-2 the count. Very interestingly, by if you're wondering, UCF, I mentioned, unofficially 34 in the RPI, Oregon 37. One and two the count. Humphreys slices it to right, foul out of play. I only bring that up because that puts you in position to possibly have both make the NCAA tournament. And then if you're the Humphreys family, what do you do there? You kind of, who's going to which regional?
You flip a coin. I don't know that you can make a decision, right? I think we'll let the odds.
It was a lot less stressful for them, or maybe not. Maybe it was more stressful when they played each other in Mary Nutter. Mom, wearing the UCF/Oregon shirt, was interviewed by Jenna Becerra on D1 softball. That was fun. One, two, the count. Humphreys hits one to deep right field. It's going, and it's not. It's dropped, caught by Zavatnik, or was it caught? Oh, it was caught. No, not caught. It got in, dropped in. So it was caught.
I'm pretty sure this ball was caught. A phenomenal job by Zavodnik tracking it down all the way to the warning track. She's going to make the grab there.
She did make the catch.
Evans at phenomenal play by Violet Zavodnik in center field for BYU, but great base running for Chloe Evans.
So she tagged in there, and both got two bases to make it a 1-0 lead for the Knights.
So is that a sacrifice fly?
I'm speechless, Al. I am so happy you're with me because I've never seen that before.
It's interesting. I think I'm just going to stick with that word. It's going to be the theme of Saturday, not even Sunday. Saturday.
I've never seen that, a sac fly that two bases there. That's why it confused me there. Kotzelnick swings and misses, but instead it was incredible base running by Chloe and Sona, who's at third. Wow. I've never seen that. I bow down to you, Alex, on that one.
They are going to rule it a sacrifice fly RBI.
What else can you do?
For Sierra Humphreys, correct, but then they're going to say that Sona Hologen advanced to second.
Kotzelnick with an RBI single to right. That will score Sona, and it's 2-0 UCF if Kotzelnick delivers.
Play number 24, Stormy Kotzelnick.
Stormy Kotzelnick stays hot. She's going to drive this one right to the pull side in the 3-4 hole. I love that piece of hitting. You had your infield playing for the play at the plate with Holligen, knowing that she doesn't have the most speed on the base path, but Kotzelnick doesn't give the grass.
So just like that, it's 2-0 UCF. Aubrey Evans at the plate. Takes ball one. I'm still in shock over that. Alex, I've done this for 18 years. I've never seen a play like that, Alex.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. No, I haven't. I've never seen somebody score from second on a ball that was caught in fair territory.
That's why I was thrown off. I'm like, wait.
And it was no hesitation from Evans.
No. Great discipline. Aubrey Evans takes ball 2. 2-0 the count with Kotzelnick at first base. I mean, the ball was caught by a beautiful catch by Zavakovic. She was so deep in the outfield and off balance. Chloe was there aggressive there on the tag, and so was Sona. And then Kotzelnick follows with the single. Wow. Like I said, I'm just happy you're here because I was lost. That was a great catch by you on that. Wow. I guess it's true what they say. You come out to the ballpark, doesn't matter how many games or years you come to games, you may see something you've never seen before.
Love it.
Add that to the list, Alex. I've never seen that.
Noted.
2-1 the count. Aubrey with a grounder to short. They're going to flip to second for one to throw to first. Safe is the call. So Kotzelnick is out at second with Aubrey at first. 2 outs.
Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 1, Chaz Williams.
Take a look here.
And good try here by the BYU defense. Aubrey Evans hits a firm ground ball. Agbayani at shortstop tries to come up with a double play.
First pitch, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jazz. 1-0 the count to Jazz. So each team is challenged to play so far in this game.
And you have to be careful. You have to wonder.
Right, you don't want to burn them early.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the uniqueness of it. We're only in the second inning. It feels like we're not, but there's a lot that's happened here. The first inning, 2/3.
I said it earlier, and I was like, Eric, these games have been very long. And you're like, yeah, I guess so. It doesn't feel like it in the moment, right? Because you're just kind of
see a lot of unique plays.
Moving and cruising, right?
Moves made, yeah.
And a lot of reviews this weekend.
2-0. Smith 3-0. Jazz ahead here 3-0.
You got this, Jazz. It's a good one.
Temple's down in the count 3-0. It's a strike there at 3-1. Here's a pitch from a couple pitches ago from
Look
Temple.
at this 2-0 spot here. That's a good pitch by Temples. You kind of wonder, right, the consistency of the strike zone. I'm just going to talk about it. I mean, they're the ones doing the hard job on the field, the umpires. But, hey, you want to be calling it consistent on both sides of the field. We've seen Sarah Willis establish that outside corner. And again, it's almost like right on cue, right? We've seen Sarah Willis get those calls her way a couple of times, and as a hitter, all you can ask for is consistency on both sides, because you never want to get in a situation. You see this pitch from Temples. I mean, that's not a bad location. Not as a hitter, one you want to hit hard, right? Or maybe can, but still, you just much tougher.
Now, Gordon Eakin's going to come out. Let's see if he either thinks about the defensive line. Here's a unique situation. You have Rowe at the plate. You normally bring it. They've brought in the fifth infielder, but you have 2 on, 2 out here. So I don't know if you play with 5 infielders with 2 runners on. That could be discussed. Knights with a 2-0 lead here in the second inning. 2 runs on a sac fly where Chloe Evans literally scored from second base. That girl just does things that astonishes me.
You're bamboozled, huh?
I am. Like I said, you're the MVP of the broadcast because you bailed me out on that one. That was an E on the. I'm still. Yeah, I can't wait to see the replay between innings. I could replay that, but they're going to stay. It looks like. Let's see if with the normal defense here, like Bayani's going to stay at right field, and I think this is in part because you have 2 runners on base. So Rowe, with a rare only the second time this week against BYU, will face 4 infielders. First pitch, a strike, 0-1 the count.
This is where it's important to get people on base when you have hitters like Janisha Rowe up who can really, I say, do some damage, not with the power game, but just with some situational hitting. You've got your shortstop playing far in the baseline as well as shaded towards that 5-6 hole, but Janisha Rowe had some success towards the middle part of the infield.
She slices one to left. That will drop for a hit. A hit for a Rowe, and the bases are now loaded with 2 outs on the single by Rowe. Look at Rowe smiling. It's like, I feel good.
She should be smiling. That's a big hit to be able to get somebody like Shannon Doherty, who has the power to clear the bases, up in this situation. Just, again, pass the bat, right? It's been the messaging all season long, especially the last couple of weeks for UCF and what their approach has been offensively.
First pitch by Chloe Temples is in there for a strike inside on Doherty. 0-1 the count. Here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Doherty flew out in her first at-bat. You have Aubrey Evans at third, Jazz Williams at second, Janisha Rowe at first. Then Doherty hits a fly ball to right. Akbayani coming in, makes the catch, and a huge out for Temples to get out of that bases loaded jam with no runs given up. But the Knights get 2 runs in the inning, and they lead 2-0 through 2.
She takes advantage, taking 2 bases on the catch. It's incredible.
It really is.
Bob Malone, of course, waving her in
great
when
job
they
by
noticed
her,
the throw.
waving the play.
Right.
It was a great catch by Zavachnik, but her momentum took her there so far. It took a moment for her to throw it in.
I think the thing too, Eric, is there's good base running at this level of play, but there's also very elite base running at this level of play, and not everybody has it because you, one, have to have the information and experience to be able to teach it, coach it, do it. But then, two, you've got to be able to execute, right? And it's hard to do in live time situations, but that was elite base running from Evans.
Ball and a strike here to Akbayani at the top of the order for the Cougars here in the third. Akbayani, Bejarano, and Zavachnik against Sarah Willis. That was so, like I said, I've never seen that.
Right.
I mean, Alex, you and I have known each other. You've never seen me that bamboozled.
You were bamboozled.
Yeah, that's a good word.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
your word conclusive, and you can use bamboozled anytime you want, Eric.
Appreciate you. 1-2. Runner to ground out to second as Aubrey Evans making the play, and Akbayani retired for the first out here in the third inning. And now Maddie Bejarano. Of course, we've documented very well this weekend, obviously, her return here, played at UCF from 20 to 22. Her brother Hunter is here, as well as her dad, Matt, and her cousin, Shonda, is here. As Maddie takes ball 1. Maddie's mom, Mindy, back home with Tanner, who, of course, has Down syndrome. We've talked about that with a wonderful young man, and someone that Maddie plays for every at-bat, every game. Getting ready to graduate in 2 weeks. And the count is 1-1. To Bejarano, who certainly you wondered, she was excited, but also kind of, I talked to her after the game last night, said she felt weird. It was weird playing here against UCF, playing in this field where she's had so many great memories. It was kind of surreal. She bloops one into left, and that will just go foul. But of course, there was a touching moment earlier in this series after one of the games. Knight fan Nick Hamill, who's in a wheelchair, approached her. Here's you look at the last pitch.
And this one just barely going foul, but I like the angle and just the setup, of course. It's the right thing, right play for third base umpire Todrick Davis. Positioning is everything, and got to be in the right place, right time.
It's called ball 2. But Nick Campbell, who became one of many people that jumped on the UCF, following UCF softball with that great run in 2022, one of his favorite players was Maddie Bejarano, and he told her he wanted to meet her in person. He stayed after the game, and that meant a lot to her. She's had a few of those this week. There's a strike three looking frozen as Willis strikes out Bejarano for the second out here in the second inning.
Sarah Willis continuing to figure out some really good pitch locations here, kind of finding that groove. Run lead and buffer now helps, but Sarah Willis just needs to go right at these hitters, and that's a big one.
Zavachnik at the plate. Takes ball one. Willis says she tends to get, as the game goes, get stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we needed it to go from pitch one, and that's, I think, the difficulty as a coach sometimes, right? You want your players to get better throughout the game, absolutely. But what if you're playing, a team that tacks on a couple in the first because you're not on your game, and it's really hard to recover sometimes.
The 1-0. That's outside. 2-0. The count to Zavachnik. Senior hitting .410, 7 homers, 27 RBIs coming into this at-bat. This game ahead 2-0. Facing Willis. The 2-0 pitch. And it's missed 3-0, and Willis falling behind here. 3-0 the count of Zavachnik. Thing about BYU, they do not go away from their game plan. They stay disciplined, make the pitchers work. The 3-0 pitch. That is missed, ball 4 on the change, and it's a walk to Zavachnik here with 2 outs.
Now batting the designated player number 54, Hunter.
Want to limit the free passes as much as possible. Spodnik doing a good job working the zone, working the count deep. That pitch, it's so close to me, and I'm sorry, you got to be consistent on both sides of the ball.
Hunter Ava whips one into left field for a hit. Cut off by Rowe. They're going to hold Zavachnik at third. The throw is into Shannon Doherty. It's a single for Ava, who's trying to fire up her teammates here for the Cougars in the third with a threat.
Hunter Ava hitting this ball deep. Look at that. It's like a laser right there to left center field. Just absolutely tattoos it. Janisha Rowe does a good job cutting it off. I think if that ball gets to the wall, you have Zavad at third and Ava over at first. It's a hard hit single.
Allie Hancock-Sheenman, who's at third base right now. It's the second coach that's coached third base in this game for BYU. So not only they make moves in the player side, but in the coaching box.
Just switching up the juju, right? It's all about the vibes.
Owens at the plate. With first and third, there she is. The 0-1 pitch. And that's 1-1. I think some of the fans are starting to kind of agree with you now, Alex, your sentiment.
I think so. I think they're challenging Johnson's strike zone back there behind the dish. Like, that's a tough pitch. I mean, it's a great pitcher's pitch. I will say as a hitter, not one you want to hit hard. Down at the knees, but good location from Willis.
That's outside, 2-1. Well, you mentioned earlier why you got lengthier games when a lot of pitches are thrown.
This is a lot of pitches.
Yeah, a lot of strikes called. 2-1 the count. Owens fouls it back. It's 2-2. You got Zavachnik at third, Hunter Ava at first. You're in the third inning. That's why Gordon Eakin's like, I'm not going to pinch run for you, just so you know. Because they were discussing that last Friday in that Houston game, where to pinch run for her, and he's like, no, I don't want to lose her bat. So I'm not going to burn the move, and it paid off as she hit that walk-off grand slam. He doesn't want to burn a move right now on that. Owens slices one to right, foul, just foul. And the count remains 2-2. Good battle here. BYU trying to respond after the Knights scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the second. Two. That's low and it's full. 3-2. Maddie Udall would hit if the inning continues.
These BYU hitters really challenging Sarah Willis to throw pitches over the plate, or at least make Johnson behind the dish call him.
Yeah.
Which we know he's got the tighter zone, so really challenging both sides.
3-2. That's lined to short, but caught by Williams to end the inning. And the Cougars' frustrations hitting with runner on base continues. Willis gets out of the third. We head to the bottom of the third. Knights still up 2.
I don't know. I mean, but they're everywhere else. I've got 1,000 in my phone alone, probably actually more. 1,000 of just them sleeping or doing something goofy, let alone.
Do dogs have an Instagram account?
Actually, one of my dogs does, yes.
Wow. Chloe Evans tries to bunt. Foul. Man, I continue to see a lot. I've never seen a portrait of a dog.
Yeah, I don't. You know,
This has been a weird day for me, Alex.
Should I give the plug of my dog's Instagram? I'm just saying.
Perfect. Do what you got to do. You've been the hero of the broadcast to this point.
Too funny.
Chloe, of course, scored on, I'm still kind of marveled in that second inning, scoring from second, tagging up on a sac fly and a great catch by Zvaknik near the track. 0-1 is inside for a ball. 1-1 the count. Knights with 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. BYU, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. Here in this third and final game of this series. Chloe Temples, the senior, out of Florida, delivers. And Evans bunts. But right there was Owens, who hesitated but makes the throw to first. Want to make sure she had her balance and threw a good throw there to get Chloe Evans out for the second out of the inning.
Now batting, position player.
And good heads-up play from Owens. You've got Kamoku coming over from second base, covering the bag. Owens recognized that she was still hustling over to first base. So you see Evans is still trying to be crafty and approach. And I mean, of course, I'm a power hitter myself, so I love to see people just absolutely swinging it. But Evans is super situational, super crafty. Her ability to read the defense.
One pitch is missed for a ball. 1-1 the count. So a ball and a strike here to Sona here at the bottom of the third. One pitch is missed there. 2-1. So you see Aguilar warming up in the bullpen. Haven't seen her yet in this series. Right now it's the fellow seniors, Temples and Willis, in the circle for both teams. 2-1 the count to Sona. Swings and misses, and the count is 2-2. Then people messaging me, blown away by a portrait of the player. I mean, this only here, folks. That's why you got to tune in every game. You never know what you're going to expect.
You never know. And you know what? Those same people are probably on their way to be getting their own portrait photos done of their dogs. So I'm just saying.
Are you included on that?
I very well might be. And no judgment. You know, no judgment.
I'm a little, I figured you would have come up with it first. Full count here, 3-2. Sona's worked the count here. 3-2 here in the bottom of the third. Knights with a 2-0 lead. Nobody on, 2 out. Strike 3. Frozen. Beautiful pitch by Chloe Temples. And a masterful 1-2-3 inning for her and the Cougars. On this pitch by Temples to keep the Cougars only down 2.
Chloe Temples doing a good job from the left side. Going to flip in that changeup. The flip change.
Round 1. Itchy Allergy Eyes versus Weed Whacker God. the undisputed champion of hurling grass and fouling every...
Yeah, about a third of as many as your strikes. So if you're going to be in there throwing, 30 strikes, yeah, you could be working around the 10 to 15 ball range. So you're at a third, maybe just a half of the ratio. It's all relative, right? And how effective are those balls too? But you don't want to be missing wide out of the zone. So I think it could be arguable of whether or not Willis is missing too far, or some of the pitches that were balls were a little close and just not going her way.
Maddie Udall leading off here for the Cougars, swings and misses. The count is 0-1. Got Udall to lead off here for BYU in the top of the fourth. Another good Saturday afternoon crowd. A lot of them in the outfield there in left field, in the left field lounge. Swing and a miss by Udall, and it's 0-2. This Saturday afternoon, a busy day at UCF with baseball later tonight. Going against Kansas State. Two pitch. It's outside for a ball. One and two the count to Udall here in the fourth, hitting .326. 3 homers, 20 RBIs on the season. A swing and a miss as Willis opens the fourth with a strikeout. Her third of the ball game, one gone here in the fourth.
Sarah Willis, another K, and look at this location, well outside of the hand, well outside of the plate against Udall, but Udall down in the count, just kind of tries to expand the zone way too much. But actually really interesting pitch from Sarah Willis too, because it just continued to tail out of the zone. And so Eric, when you're looking at that, the first thing you recognize, in my opinion, as a hitter is plane of the ball, and then you immediately also pick up velocity. And so she could tell it was going to be coming firm, and then she sees on plane it stayed well because it was kind of thigh high, just continued to tail away. Interesting stuff.
The 1-0 pitch here from Willis to Kayla. It's in there, right? That's why it's so key, right, for pitchers, the movement.
Absolutely.
Because as a hitter, you're looking for a specific spot, but if that ball moves late, there's not much you can do once you commit as a hitter.
Absolutely, and we've all been there where we've chased pitches well out of the zone that when we look back or even just think back, we're like, oh, yeah, that was definitely not the pitch I should have swung at. But again, it's kind of the self-talk.
Right there, an example.
That goes into it, right? When you're having self-talk and you have a plan, we talk mostly about what pitches and what zones we're trying to hit. So the first thing I'm telling myself is this is coming in hard. And this right here is exactly what Kamoku is going to pick up on, and looks like it might have just gotten a piece of Jada Cody.
Yeah, catcher's lifestyle there.
Oh, yeah, no thank you.
Well, and you mentioned earlier about Jada catching. Again, they try not to overuse her in the catching position for reasons like this. She's such a valuable player in so many ways.
Well, it's not something she does all the time, right? It's different if you do it a lot and you're just kind of getting beat up because of the duration of the season, but...
It's a ground ball deep in the hole. Williams from the grass. One hop throw to first, not in time. Kayla beats it out. Infield hit. And the Cougars have one on with one out. Kamuku getting on here now to set the table for Agbayani.
Look at the depth at which Jazz Williams is playing. She's going to field that all the way in the grass. The throw, a really good play, good range from Williams, but just not in time. A lot of speed from Kamoku.
Bayani fouls it back, and the count is 0-1. And for those who are wondering, that throw is on purpose. That's not like, oh, she short-armed that throw. No, that's been designed. We saw Humphreys has done that a couple times in this series. With the bright days of the infielders, they like to give it a one-hop. A secure throw. You don't want to, last thing you want to do is do airmail a throw.
Right. I was going to say, we talk strategic and the why so much, and that's because when you're that far and making a throw across the field and trying to make it firm, typically we do airmail it. The throws become errant, way too much height on the throws, so to throw it right into the ground is often better, more accurate, faster.
Leah Agbayani The 1-1 count. That hitter. Off-speed hitter. Too much movement that time. And it's 2 on, 1 out for BYU here in the fourth. So now, with Akbayani getting on, Macy Simmons is the scheduled hitter. We'll see if she hits here, or they're going to go with a pinch hitter. Gordon Eakins coming out here, going to make, I think, a couple of moves. As the Cougars trying to get back in this. Looks like Lauren Flanders is going to pinch hit here. And you see again the Knights bullpen. They've had various arms warming up throughout. With Cochran there on the left. She closed the game out last night. So Lauren Flanders is going to pinch hit for Simmons in this spot. So the junior gets an opportunity here from Peachtree City, Georgia. 2 on, 1 out here in the fourth. And then remember, they go to the top of the order after this. She squares the bunt, does bunt, it goes foul. And it's 0-1. So Flanders trying to bunt her way on. It fouls it off.
A good situational attempt here. Lefty short game, going to try to drag it with her almost on that sacrifice. Talk about another strategic move. Flanders coming in, trying to get a job done, move people over.
Tries again. This time it was a pitch out. Oh, they got the runner. They throw to third, but it's not in time. They threw the wrong base. Good heads-up base running by Kayla Kamuku, who said, well, if you're going to throw to second, I'm just going to go ahead and go to third.
You see Flanders again trying to square around, but Kamoku is going to draw the throw. She's almost halfway off the bag. Jada Cody almost should have given her a pump fake to see which direction she's there at third, but still, you've got to make the runner commit. If she's just out there in no man's land, go at her.
Went around there as Flanders wanted to. It was a good guess by Kayla. She's like, I'm just going to take off.
Right.
She's going to second. It worked out for her.
But yeah, you always want to get your base runner to commit if you are the defensive player, whether it's a pump fake, whether it's running straight at them. And I know that's not necessarily easy when you've got all that catcher's gear on like Jada Cody does, but get them to be leaning towards the side. Don't be stand up right in the middle.
1-2. Flanders throws the button, but gets it done with 2 strikes. It's going to get on for a hit. Wow. What an execution by Lauren Flanders with 2 strikes. Gets a bunt single. And they're loaded with 1 out. We've seen it all. We're seeing it all here today.
Flanders, big moment, but that could also be a gut thing. You know Sarah Willis is going to throw the off-speed pitch so much, and there's no easier pitch to bunt than a changeup because it is so slow through the zone, applying the pressure to the UCF defense and just making them make plays.
Well, that ball came close to hitting that bat. And if it would have hit that bat, that's a foul. It's a strikeout.
Interesting stuff, though, overall. And, again, I think I've used this word interesting all day just because it's probably the kindest word to use. But what is is drawing my most curiosity is in a situational opportunity, we talk about runners on second and third, a runner on third with 1 out. A sacrifice doesn't necessarily make sense because then you get people, yes, maybe over to third, but you've got 2 outs.
Well, I think that was the purpose there, is to get on for the top of the order, your best hitter to come up with the bases loaded.
But then you still got to get a hit, right? You
right. No, it's gutsy.
Situational hitting is putting people in position in situations to come through that doesn't just mean a hit.
Angelina DeVoe coming in relief for Willis, meanwhile, who goes 3 1/3. Gives up no runs, 4 hits, and is responsible for the 3 runners on base. With Kamuku with a single, and then the hit by pitch to Akbayani, and then Flanders with the bunt single. So now DeVoe, the senior, coming to pitch here in a tough spot. Bases loaded with just one out. We'll have Coach Paul Malone later on here at the end of this half inning.
Angelina DeVoe going to be that annoyer from the left side. So you've got the lefty-lefty matchups here on both sides of the field. BYU with Temples in the circle, and now UCF.
They're going to change catchers, too. So Ashley Griffin's going to come in to catch DeVoe. And we'll see what other moves are made here. There's going to be a couple more, I have a feeling. Having fun, Alex? This is wild. This is interesting. Now, you got Agbayani at the plate. Here with the bases loaded and one out. Is that, let's see, you got Humphrey stays at third. And Del Hoyo is in at left field, it looks like, coming in. Or is it Katie Bird? We'll see. Hard to tell with the Space U. That is, let's see here. We got Katie Burge there.
Sorry, Katie Burge. I was looking at the numbers. I thought I saw 26.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's Del Hoyo. Nope, it's Katie Burge.
The senior's in. Agbayani swings at the first pitch, and it fouls it off. So DeVoe in to face Agbayani. Ailana Agbayani here in a big spot. Bases loaded, one out in the fourth inning. A couple of hits in the inning and a hit by pitch with one out. So now the senior DeVoe, first time in this series against BYU. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, and DeVoe ahead 0-2 on Agbayani in his lefty-lefty matchup. The 0-2. Pitch out there, 1-2. So a ball and two strikes the count. So Ailana Agbayani, the hitter that Gordon Eakin, who's now all of a sudden, by the way, at third base. So he's made a move during the inning. He's over at third.
He's like, all right, I've got this under control now, right?
The 1-2, Agbayani fouls out. It's the third different BYU coach that's been on the third base box today.
We're not counting.
This is one of the most bizarre games I've seen, I could tell you.
Well, one of the things that Coach Eakin said, too, yesterday when we did get to interview him in the middle of the game was that he thought his hitters were doing really well. Just somebody hadn't come through in the clutch, timely moment to get people across.
Will this be the moment for Agbayani? She taps one to short. Williams coming home. They get the force out. Big play by Jazz Williams for the second out here in the fourth. Committed right away and makes the play.
And Jazz Williams does a great job. Look at where she's playing. She's already playing in, but going to be selling out for that play up the middle, short ground ball there. Williams does a great job crashing in, getting the lead out in Kamoku. Really good softball.
And now Angelina DeVoe is going to face a hitter that was one of her closer friends on that UCF 2022 team and in 2021, and Maddie Bejarano. They're very close. And now they're facing each other in this huge spot, bases loaded and two outs. Maddie 0 for 1 with a walk. And that's missed there, 2-0. What are the odds? And I asked both of them, ironically, this week about what it's like, and it's like, it's weird. It's kind of a little strange. And here they are, facing each other in a huge moment in this ball game. Bases loaded, two outs. I can only imagine how many times they faced each other in practice as teammates. Bejarano bloops one to left, but Burge comes in and makes the catch. And DeVoe gets out of a bases loaded jam. And a big play by Burge defensively, who came in and makes. All right, welcome back. Bottom of the fourth here, and we're joined by head coach Cindy Ball Malone. And coach, obviously you called Angelina DeVoe's number, and she gets you out a couple of big outs there with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I mean, she's just cool, steady. I call her the annoyer, and that's why. So, when they were starting to get to with Sarah, who's normally our more dominant, faster pitcher, we go with, the annoyer. So.
we love it. So 2-run lead here going into the bottom half of the inning, but why is it so important for your offense to score a couple more runs against this BYU team?
Well, because they're a great hitting team, number one, and then game 3 is always crazy. You know that. So we need to put more runs on the board and support our queens as best we can.
Love it.
All right, Coach,
thank you.
Good luck. Thank you very much for joining us. Head Coach Cindy Beaumalone joining us here at the bottom of the 4th. Knights with a 2-0 lead. It'll be Humphreys to lead it off with Stormy Kotzelnick. And Aubrey Evans, 6, 7, 8 against Chloe Temples. Knights 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, no runs, 4 hits, 1 error for BYU. Humphreys takes the strike. What are you looking forward to here as we approach here the halfway point?
Just what Coach said. She knows that a 2-run lead is not enough, and that's because these BYU hitters are so good. They're currently out-hitting UCF right now. 4 hits on the board for BYU, 3 for UCF. So it's going to be so crucial for the Knights to put together a couple of good at-bats. But, Eric, the Cougars out-hit UCF last night, too. They finished the game with 10 hits. UCF had 9, but it was just the timeliness, the big double, the bases-clearing double by Sierra Humphreys was probably the pivotal moment for the Knights, but it's all about the timing of your hitting.
Well, and that's something that's frustrated Gordon Eakin this week is hitting with runners on base, leaving a lot of runners on.
Right.
They've left already 8 in this ball game.
Right, you can't leave people on base. When you get a leadoff batter on, you've got to find a way to get them to come around and score. You've got to make the other team pay for putting people on base.
1-2 pitch. Humphreys outside, 2-2. What do the Knights got to do here against Temples?
You see her all game long so far, right? Just kind of making those adjustments and what she has, but she's going to be up in the zone. So right now, if I'm Coach Bob Malone, I'm seeing that my team's hitting a lot of fly ball outs, and that's the adjustment that we need to make.
There's a strikeout by Temples of Humphreys for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th.
We talk about assessing output and performance every single game. So right now, on both sides of the field, right, because you could look at it one of 2 ways, from Coach Bob Malone's perspective or Coach Eakin's perspective for BYU. And what I mean by that is you have Temples in the circle, who's a rise ball kid. So what does that mean output-wise? You're going to have fly balls hit, typically.
That's a base hit to left field by Stormy Kotzelnick, who will round first and will stand there with a 1-out double for Stormy Kotzelnick, her 2nd hit of the ball game.
And I'm saying it, Stormy Kotzelnick is UCF's hottest hitter right now, just ropes that one opposite field down the left field line. I love Kotzelnick's approach in her last couple of weeks of play. She's so confident in the box, but that right there is staying down and through a kid like Temples, whose rise balls in the zone. You know that they're automatically adjusting super quick. If you've got a lot of fly ball production, you know that your pitcher in the circle is doing the job.
Gordon Eakin's going to come out, and this might be it for Chloe Temples, and it is. So Chloe Temples going to be taken out, going 3 1/3. It looks like Alyssa Aguilar will come in relief for BYU. We'll take a break, catch our breath. Here in the bottom of the 4th, Knights with a 2-0 lead.
Vista BMW of Pompano Beach is now BMW of Pompano Beach and a proud member of the Morgan Automotive Group, Florida's largest automotive retailer. To celebrate, we have received a special
Here in Alyssa Aguilar making her debut in this series for the Cougars.
And Aguilar going to come in this game. Similar look, though, to Chloe Temples, just from the right side. Now going to be another rise ball change-up kid. So if I'm UCF, my approach doesn't change much. I'm still trying to go down and through the ball.
She'll face Aubrey Evans. Aubrey hit here with Stormy at second base. 1 out here in the 4th. Really good outing for Chloe Temples. 3 1/3, 2 runs, 4 hits. Responsible for the runner at second base. Now Aubrey Evans. The 0-1 pitch. And Aguilar missed their way, 1-1.
Aguilar looking to come in and limit any kind of damage, kind of similar to the Angelina DeVoe opportunity last inning.
Good pitch there by Aguilar. It's 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes to count. Evans lays off that pitch outside. Aguilar, though, clearly working that corner.
Going to be trying to kind of reestablish the strike zone right now. Again, you had one zone off of Temples, so you don't really know if you're going to come in to have the same zone. Talk about the importance of consistency behind the plate.
2-2 line, and a catch is made by Udall. What a catch by Udall, robbing there Aubrey potentially of a hit. We don't know if that would have gone fair or foul, but it's a big out for the Cougars for the second out of the inning.
Big play. Good swing, too, from Aubrey Evans. That was phenomenal heads-up play by Udall at first.
That would have gone down the line. I think it would have been a fair ball. That's a huge catch by Udall. Now Jazz Williams at the plate. Or Zavachnik made that great catch in the second inning, which ironically, though, cost her a run, which was still one of the more bizarre plays. But a big play there by Udall. Now Aguilar with an 0-1 count on Jazz, who bloops one to right, but Akbayani's under it, makes the catch to retire the side. Nice job by Aguilar in relief. Keeps it a 2-run deficit. It's 2-0 UCF. You're watching the Big 12 now on ESPN+. Busy day here on campus. Coming up later tonight, UCF hosting Kansas State in college baseball. Knights ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2020. Game 2 of that series tonight. 6 Mark Daniels, Stephen Branco will have the call for you there. Knights winning Game 1 last night. And a big pivotal series. Knights against an explosive offense of Kansas State in Big 12 play. Rich Wallace and company playing good baseball. Projected, according to D1Baseball.com this week, to be a possible host as a 16th seed. A lot of baseball to go, but still pretty good first start for Rich Wallace, the alum, in his first year taking over the baseball pro. Here, we're in the top of the 5th. Heart of the order for the Cougars, and Violet Zavachnik, who bunts foul against Angelina DeVoe, the senior, here in the 5th inning. Zavachnik, Ava, and Owens, 3-4-5 to hit here against DeVoe, who came in relief of Willis in the 4th inning with the bases loaded and got out of that jam. Knights bullpen is up, and it's been busy all day. Grace Jewell warming up. Cochran's been warming up. Zavachnik fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Baseball having a great year, ranked in the top 25 in the polls. There you see now Caitlin Felton warming up on the left and Jewell on the right. Felton was the winning starting pitcher yesterday. 0-2. Outside, ball 1. 1-2 to count. To Zavachnik. In the heart of the order, in the 5th for the Cougars. Ball and 2 strikes the count. That's low. 2-2 the count to Zavachnik. Baseball, as I mentioned, projected to host. They're projecting 3 teams from the state of Florida to host. Florida State, and UCF. Of course, softball saw that in 2022. The 2-2. Zavachnik drops one into right for a hit in front of Chloe Evans. Vintage Violet Zavachnik, who gets on for the 3rd time in this game. This time, though, via the single to open the Cougars' 5th.
Good job by Zavachnik trying to get something going here and get her offense fired up. A little bit of a spark plug, too, is Zavachnik, somebody that's just kind of that spunky player that shows a lot of passion.
Yeah, they're a different team when she was in the lineup. She missed some time due to the injury, but back healthy. Now Hunter Ava, 1 for 2 with a single. Rips one to left. That's going to go off the pole, and that's gone. Off the fair foul pole, and it's a 2-run homer by Ava, who has just tied this game up at 2. Ava.
Hunter Ava, so much power. That one right over the middle of the plate. You can't leave balls right down the middle like that, especially ones elevated in the zone, belt buckle high like their pay, and say, hey, you don't want to miss there on me.
And that'll be it for DeVoe, with Grace Jewell will come in relief. We'll take a break. Cougars have tied it up 2-2 here in the fifth.
Vista BMW of Pompano Beach is now BMW of Pompano Beach and a proud member of the Morgan Automotive Group, Florida's largest automotive retailer. To celebrate, we have received a
New pitcher for the Knights here in senior Grace Jewell out of Chesapeake, Virginia. Gets the ball here in the fifth.
And senior Jewell going to come in the circle, be more of your power pitcher, high velo kind of kid, but also using that curveball predominantly through the zone. Make curveball, fastball mix.
So she comes in now for DeVoe, who tough there. Zabachnik gets that single and the 2 strikes, and then Ava on the next pitch hits one off the foul pole there for the 2-run homer. That's the first home run BYU's hit in this series. And Owens trying to go back-to-back, hits one deep, it's off the wall. Owens with a double for the Cougars now with momentum here in the fifth.
Great approach from Lily Owens. You know, with a new pitcher in the circle, the first thing they're going to try to do is get ahead and taking the very first pitch that she sees, that one right down the middle. We talked the velo from Grace Jewell, and she's supplying all the power. All you got to do as a hitter is get your barrel.
Came in 11th and runs scored. Udall tries to bunt, does. Humphreys will have one play. Will throw first. Aubrey Evans stays on the bag as the throw is a little high. But it's a sacrifice bunt by Udall that advances Owens to third with just one out. So now Kayla Kamuku will come to the plate.
BYU really trying to use that situational hitting. Good execution on the sacrifice bunt by Udall, but Owens just continues to go back-to-back. Momentum here going the way of the Cougars. Passing the bat.
That's into dirt, ball one. 1-0 the count. 1-0 the count here to Kamuku. 1 for 2 with a single. This offense 11th in the country in hitting coming into this series. 11th in runs scored. Up and in, 2-0. Hitting .339 coming to the week, averaging 7 runs a game, 13th in on-base percentage, .427, 19th in slugging, .520 coming into the week for this BYU attack. 2-0 is a strike. And certainly they worked the count on Willis enough to get her out of this game and get to the bullpen. We got a bullpen game the rest of the way here with both teams.
Absolutely. Well, the good news is for UCF, they've not had to show too many arms yet. Minimal pitching from the Knights. So you've got a lot of fresh arms that are ready to go.
2-1, but got to execute though, and Joel's behind 3-1.
And that's, I think, right now, the kryptonite of this UCF pitching staff is their inefficiency in pitches. You want to attack the zone. You want to be as close around the zone if you are going to miss. Make it believable out of the hand to get the hitters to swing.
That's ball 4. Oh, Owens was kind of going halfway. I don't know if the runner was, they were thinking the squeeze play might have been on or not. Nonetheless, it's a walk, and it's first and third, 1 out. And now Alea Agbayani will come to the plate.
Missed squeeze play. Lily Owens, borderline caught off the bag, but then you had Jazz Williams trying to run over as much as possible, too.
She missed it because the ball was high.
Well, yeah, exactly. It was a bunt, right? Or a ball up in the zone. You wonder if it's a safety squeeze or no matter what, because if it's a squeeze, you got to get the bunt down and the pitch down no matter where. But then you saw Katie Burge had some good heads-up awareness as well, realizing that on the ball 4 walk, nobody was at second base. You saw her making her way over there, and then Janisha Rowe followed suit, coming in to cover the bag. It's a lot of movement, a lot of stuff to take into consideration.
Yeah, and now big moment here. First and third, 1 out. As Taryn Lennon Looks like will be the pinch runner. We're going to hold down this BYU offense for too long. I had them shut out for 4 innings, but Zabachnik with the single, Ava with a 2-run homer. This is why they're so potent. They have so explosive for this. It's fitting. It was their seniors stepping in here with the big hits. Now looking to add on with another senior, Ale Agbayani, who transferred from Cal, grad transfer. Of course, played at Cal for Becca Mueller, the UCF assistant, who was the hitting coach at Cal. Jewel right now has been a little high in her pitches, 1-0 the count.
Grace Jewell trying to find the zone, struggling a bit right now. Way too many balls that she's throwing. Got to make it believable for these hitters to try to take the bait.
It's a strike. It's 1-1.
And the thing, too, with a pitcher like Jewell, and in this instance, obviously, Jewell, she's going to be that power type of pitcher. When we say high velo, pitchers like this sometimes try to overpower the hitters instead of just letting their pitches do the work and the movement for them. Let their defense get to work behind them. You feel like you come into these moments and have to strike everybody out and get all the swing and misses, and you just don't. The game's been evolving so much. The defense behind you is so good. UCF being one of the top defensive teams in the country. Just got to trust them.
2 balls and a strike. Akbayani off Jewel's glove. Will throw to first. They do get the out at first as Akbayani's out, but Owens will score from third to give BYU the 3-2 lead. Now Macy Simmons re-enters to hit.
And that one, good piece of hitting by Alea Agbayani, just hitting the ball firm right back up the middle. Grace Jewell unable to come up with it cleanly, which score. So good job applying the pressure by Agbayani.
Simmons takes a ball outside. Yeah, she comes up with that cleanly.
Big, yeah.
She may have a shot at home plate there.
Absolutely.
Because the runner is going on contact.
When it was hit so hard, right?
But to her credit, she regrouped and got the out at first at Agbayani.
Absolutely.
A lot of pitchers probably kind of lose their poise there, but Jewel did get the out. But so it's kind of the mixture there. Meanwhile, 2-0 the count to Simmons, which is a big moment because you go to the top of the order here. And Ilana would hit if this inning were to continue. It's a grounder to second. Aubrey Evans is there. Will throw to first to retire the side, but not before BYU gets 3 runs in the inning, highlighted by the 2-run homer by Hunter Ava and lead 3-2. It's a ball. 1-1. Here, break down the defense, Alex, here, what Rose seeing.
Oh, yeah, we still got the craziness of 5 infielders. Here, it's going to be important for UCF to come back and try to respond. Scoring a couple, getting people on base, but you've got your second baseman, Kamoku, over on the left side of shortstop.
Rowe hits it to the right side, but it's picked up, and Udall says, I got this. Akbayani was like, I was ready to field that ball at first base. She wanted to field that ball. But Udall's like, I got you. Look at her talking about it. Like, Udall's like, I had you. I got it. Look at that. I've never seen that. We've had Agbayani was lined up towards first. Udall was more towards second.
I want to say it was like confusion, but it wasn't. It was almost just a level of comfortability. You have Udall, who's your consistent first baseman. Obviously, of course, right, gets the ball hit to her. And then she's just thinking typical first base mindset. I'm just going to take it myself. I'm good.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me.
Right, it's not you, it's me. Why force a throw here?
Right. Doherty at the plate takes ball 1. 1-0 the count here against Aguilar. As Doherty lines a single in the center. Zvachnik plays it quick. And it's a 1-out single for the super senior, Shannon Doherty. Trying to get the Knights here going here in the bottom of the 5th.
Great piece of hitting by Shannon Doherty. Just going to line this one right back up the middle approach. Love the smooth and easiness of her presence in the box.
Now Ashley Griffin, remember, came in for Cody to catch. He's going to hit here. Doherty's going to get pinch run for Alexis Morgan. And now they're going to pull Let me see, Griffin, is she going to hit? She's talking to Becca Mueller. And they're going to take Aguilar out. So BYU makes a counter move. So they make a change. As Kate Dolly, who started the first game of this series, will come in. So the chess piece moves are happening as we speak, Alex, here.
And I don't blame them. I mean, Temple's had a really good run.
So Aguilar's appearance is complete. Goes an inning and a hit. Kate Dolly here, the freshman, started the Thursday night game. Threw pretty well against UCF. 3+ innings.
Yeah, she did it. And Dolly's going to come in and just try to, again, we always say limit the damage. Anything else from happening, you're getting through your third time through the order with some really impactful players. You see what Shannon Doherty did her third time through, finally finding some success. So you don't want to give people like Jada Cody, Chloe Evans the same opportunity here. So Dolly coming in, going to be mostly down, curve, screw, and change up. So that says to me a lot of ground ball production and letting my defense work.
So Griffin is going to stay in and hit against Dolly here with runner at first, 1 out in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that is an interesting move. I guess I just kind of went back to, I think we're going to bring Jada Cody back in, but Griffin going to be getting the at-bat here.
Yeah, I keep looking to see. So Griffin's going to hit. Of course, Cody got banged up earlier in the game as a catcher, so that might play a factor in this decision.
That's where my head goes, yeah.
So Griffin to hit here with a runner at first and 1 out. First pitch is in there for a strike from Kate. Third Cougar pitcher of the day, Chloe Temples. You had Aguilar, now Kate Dolly. The freshman out of Utah. The 0-1 pitch. Griffin hits it to right, but right to Agbayani. And Griffin is retired for the 2nd out of the inning.
Not a bad piece of hitting by Griffin, too. I like how aggressive she was in the box, coming in and making a loud out, and that's what you want to see if you're UCF, just continuing that fight. You're not going to roll over and lay down, giving up just because BYU takes the 1-run lead. We saw them come back a couple of times this weekend in some big moments.
Chloe Evans at the plate. Swings and fouls it off. 0-1 the count. You got Morgan at first, but that was a huge out because not only because it's the 2nd out, but the runner couldn't advance in the scoring position. Goes back to that situational hitting and bunting. Remember how BYU got their run in. And there's that off-speed pitch that gave UCF some fits in that Thursday night game.
Oh, Evans with a big swing. You got Dolly just flipping that changeup in there. Evans going to swing right through it.
Morgan takes off. The pitch was in the dirt, and Morgan gets a steal to get herself in scoring position. So it's now runner at 2nd with 2 outs, but a 1-2 count here at Chloe Evans.
Coach Ball Malone trying to tell Evans, hey, let the ball get deep. Don't try to force it. And that's what we saw her doing last night, swinging a bit outside of her zone, trying to put balls in play.
She reaches for it and reaches up the middle and through. Ball Malone's going to send Morgan, who will score to tie this game up on a Chloe clutch RBI single by Chloe Evans. And we're all squared at 3. Wow.
Chloe Evans coming through in some clutch, timely hitting right here. Just going to get just enough of that ball to let the hard ground work in her favor. Going to hit it right back up the middle, but it was the stolen base from Morgan being all the difference right there.
Takes a ball, 1-0 the count. It's a fantastic point you just brought up there. Alexis Morgan, the freshman out of Centralville, Virginia, with a huge stolen base. Again, it shows Coach Paul Malone and her bench pinch running, very important position, and Morgan getting that steal, was able to score on the out. Burge now on the bunt. Owens is going to throw it and throw it into right field. Agbayani backs up the play, but Chloe Evans goes to third. It'll be a single for Burge, and the Knights have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Vintage Katie Burge there.
Katie Burge also getting it done with some good situational stuff, seeing the defense and knows her short game is so good. Lily Evans, that's where you want to hold the throw. She's already at the base, right? I'm just forcing a throw at this point.
But a fantastic play by Aaliyah Agbayani at right field, backing the play up, because a lot of right fielders sometimes don't back that play up. If that ball, if she's not backing that play up, Chloe scores on that play. And here's Katie Burge's dog.
Oh my goodness, that kind of looks like a dog that I used to have, a doodle. We love the doodles. I have a doodle at home. Oh, Milo. I'm sure Milo would be very proud of his mom.
Yeah, sent in by the Burge family there. Katie Burge with a beautiful bunt single. Now, keep in mind, she has great wheels at first speed at first base. And I think Gordon Eakin came out to talk strategy here. What if, for example, Katie Burge tries to steal? Do you throw? Do you not? Because you've got Chloe Evans at third. So there's a lot of wheels in motion here with Sierra Humphreys at the plate with first and third, 2 outs here in the 5th and a 3-3 game. First pitch away. There goes Burge, who purposely gets caught. But Agbayani kept looking at Chloe. It was like, I'm not going to take any chances here. So
that's a good job controlling the situation, too, for Agbayani. That's what I was talking about. Get your base runner to commit, right? Because if they just kind of play the back and forth game of throwing the ball all the way around, you're going to have somebody make a mistake at some point. So that's a good job controlling the situation.
Humphreys tries to squeeze. Now Burge does take a straight steal and will take it. They did throw, but Burge gets the steal, and it's second and third now with 2 outs.
This is where speed on the base path is dangerous. Katie Burge going to get the advancement of 60 feet. Right now, it's a big moment because if Sarah Humphreys can come through with something that falls, it's potentially
to get ahead of Sierra Humphreys. 1-2. Humphreys had that sac fly back in the 2nd inning. Gave the Knights a 1-0 lead. She gets a piece of that one to stay alive. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for BYU. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They give an error on Owens on the throw because it allowed Chloe to go to third.
I think that's the right call, too.
Yeah. Ball and 2 strikes. Got her a strikeout for the young freshman, Kate Daly. Strands a couple of Knights, but UCF does tie the game up at 3 on the RBI single by Chloe Evans. It's 3-3 through 5.
So top and the bottom looking to execute.
Doherty re-enters the game at first. Remember, she was pinch run for Alexis Morgan, who did a great job there. 1-0 the count to Ilana Agbayani. There's a strike from Grace Jewell. It's the third night pitcher of the ball game. Sarah Willis started with 3 1/3. Angelina DeVoe came in relief, and now Jewell. Jewell got out of a jam in the 5th. 1-1. Agbayani with a grounder to second. Aubrey Evans is there. Will throw to first to retire Ilana Agbayani. 1 gone here in the 6th. As Evans makes the play, and that'll bring up Maddie Bejarano, who will get to face her former teammate and friend, Grace Jewell. Both seniors. Jewell came in 21, Bejarano in 20. And Bejarano fouls it off. Arguably, 2 of Maddie's closer friends on the UCF team were DeVoe and Jewell, and now she's faced them in back-to-back at-bats.
I love it. And you said, what are the odds? And I looked over at you in between innings, and I said, very high, because that is the softball gods working almost like in the favor of, because they love the irony. Is that what it is? We love
it. Irony, yeah. Well, I mean, think of how many practices over the years, those couple of years, I'm sure they faced each other in practice so many times.
Right. Not surprising at all that that's just how it plays out. It's the name of the game.
And Bejarano gets a single to left. Her first hit of the series comes here in the 6th with 1 out for the Cougars. That'll bring up Violet Zavachnik. Like I said, if they ever do a 2022 reunion, Maddie may rub that into Grace maybe at some point. Maybe not this week, though.
Maybe not this week. Not when it's so fresh, right? Bejarano doing a good job just going the opposite way, letting the ball travel. That's the name of the game. And trying to find some success.
Zavachnik rips one foul. And that's why that Maddie hit is huge, because now you've got Zavachnik and Ava coming to the plate potentially with runners on base. You're arguably, to me, the 2 best hitters of the team.
Absolutely.
Zavachnik and Ava coming up here.
With some RBI opportunities always helps, right? Instead of having to be the tone setter. So good job by Bejarano getting herself on base, trying to make something happen, apply the pressure.
Up and in, 1-1 now the count to Zavachnik, who, remember, singled in that 5th inning to start it off, and then Ava hit the 2-run homer off the foul pole into left to tie the game up at 2. Ball's in the dirt, blocked by Griffin. You know, and Ashley Griffin was also a teammate of Maddie Bejarano. In fact, it was Griffin in that winner's bracket game that got an RBI double in the 6th to get UCF within 2-1 to set the stage for Maddie Bejarano to tie the game in the 7th, and then eventually the walk-off double in the 11th. Ball 3-1 to count to Zavachnik. That's a game where Kamal Woodall throw 11 innings, 250-some pitches, and 90-degree weather.
It's like you remember it really well.
I might have been there.
Every detail, yeah.
I was in a different booth, but I was in the same press spots. 3-1 count. Swing and a miss by Zavachnik. 3-2. It's a game that'll never be forgotten that weekend. Knights would go on to win that regional against Michigan 9-4. Here's the last pitch here on Zavachnik.
Good pitch by Jewel working off the plate. That's where you want to live if you're Grace Jewel. Because anything over the white, we've seen these BYU hitters really capitalize on, trying to find their swings late in the ball game.
Well, and Zavachnik is so mechanically smooth, to me, at least from the approach.
No, I couldn't agree more. She looks really comfortable in the box. She goes the other way well.
Three-two. Zavachnik hits it to left, carrying, and Burge can't come up with it off the wall. Bejarano will hold it second. The wind took that a little bit, but Burge couldn't come up with it. We'll see how they score it, but the Cougars don't care. They get 2 on, 1 out here in the 6th.
I just said how well Zavachnik goes the other way. She hit that one all the way to the warning track, but I'm pretty sure Katie Burge was camping underneath that ball. It's tipped off her glove. I get the wind being a factor, but when you're camping underneath something and you have it read well, got to make the play.
It's an error on Burge, so it's a straight-up error on Burge on the drop. And that's huge because that brings Hunter Ava to the plate with 2 on, 1 out. Who just hit a 2-run homer, as you'll see right here, Alex.
And Hunter Ava took that pitch down in the zone, but right over the middle of the plate and has so much power in the box. Totally capitalized, took advantage. Look at this.
So 2 on, 1 out for Ava. That one gets away from Griffin, and that's going to get both runners into scoring position. So a couple of defensive miscues for the Knights here in the 6th inning. It's given BYU here a chance with 2nd and 3rd and just 1 out. And now if you're the Knights, Alex, do you consider just pitching around Ava with the open base at first, at least force a force out?
Maybe, but you kind of got to pick your poison. You had Lily Owens hit a double her last time up.
Ava swings away, foul to third base. So the error by Burge, and then I think that might have been a pass ball. We'll see how they score that. got BYU in second and third, and this is not an offense you want to give extra chances to.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Every pitch, every swing matters right now on both sides. Every pitch is important for UCF. Got to make the defensive plays, but right now, if you're BYU, every swing is crucial.
It is a pass ball. Ava pops it up foul, but out of play, and it's 1-2. Tense moments here. You've got Bejarano at third. Zavatnik at second. One out here in the sixth. A 3-3 game. Did that hit Ava? Or did it hit? Yeah, it looks like it did. It hit her in that elbow. Boy, now a hit by pitch loads him up. Try to go inside on Ava, but it hit the elbow.
Grace Jewell, her working inside it is pretty typical. I mean, that's a consistent location that she's going to try to establish.
Did it hit the hand here? It might have hit the barrel of the bat. So they're not going to review it. Which is interesting. So bases loaded, one out. Here's did it hit the knob?
So you let it keep going here, and this is what we want to see. Whether or not it hits the knob. It looks very much like it could have hit the knob. I think she was even confused on whether or not.
Yeah.
She kind of did. She hesitated.
Owens hits one to right. Chloe makes the catch. Coming in from third to throw home, not in time. Bejarano scores, and BYU regains the lead 4-3. They will appeal to third and say Bejarano did not leave early. And it's 4-3 BYU, but I don't understand if you're the umps why you don't just review it on that last play. But nonetheless, it's a 4-3 lead for BYU. Owens gets the job done on the fly out to right. Now, what are the umps? Now we're going to talk about something else. But let's look at this last hit here by Owens.
Good job by Lily Owens getting the sack fly. It's more situational opportunity. This why it's so big.
The player now, they chose not to review the ball on Ava, whether it hit the knob or not. This time, they're going to talk to Coach Paul Malone about this, and I'm not sure. It's been interesting. Interesting week. I can't wait to listen to your podcast with Brittany McKinney. This series has given you so much. I know it's
many reviews.
ACC, but you've got so many things within the game you can talk about now. You don't have shortage of topics.
I don't think we ever have
now
a
they are
shortage
going to
of
review
topics.
this one. So they're going to review this one, whether, and I'm assuming it's whether Bejarano left early. Or any of the runners, for that matter. Yeah. Remember, it could be either runner if they left early. And so here's both base runners here, Alex.
So we're going to see in your bottom right corner, Chloe Evans making the catch. Then you have in the upper right, Lynn Bejarano would have come around to score.
Remember, it's got to be conclusive, and the call was that she did not leave early. Remember, Akbayani was called for leaving early back in the first. Here's another look.
You see the side-by-side again. This one, Lily Owens going to be hitting that ball deep. Right
Did she
field.
tag?
Chloe Evans coming in, making the catch. So you see the catch. It looks like she was on time. I don't think she left early, but hey, all you can do is ask the question.
I definitely don't think there's anything conclusive
No, I
that's going to
agree.
be able to overturn anything.
I agree.
I think this will stand. But again, if you got nothing to lose there. I'm more surprised they didn't challenge whether the ball hit the knob on Ava. Because I think that might have been interesting if they would have seen that. But it is what it is. Like I said, I can't wait for your episode. I'm going to download that episode, and I can't wait when you bring it.
You know what? I still am not a fan of the review. That was my last episode, and I was very passionate about it. I was very firm in that I can't stand the review process, the review length of time.
It's more about the
Some of
it's
the
not the
things
review. It's the review. It's more of the process.
Correct.
Well,
Well, it's the
got to
process.
cleaned up. It's definitely got to get cleaned up.
The only thing that I actually dislike a lot about the review is that you can review runners leaving early on steals or the base that do not impact the play at all. Does that make sense? Like, you're not stealing. It's not a play like this. I absolutely think this should be reviewable, 1,000%.
Yeah, there you go. They confirmed the call that she did not leave early. I don't think they were surprised by that one. I think that makes sense. Maddie involved in all these plays. Maddie, come on, Maddie. Creating content for those, those dinners 10 years from now, that reunion there. So it's a 4-3 lead for BYU. That's also going to be it for Grace Jewell. They're going to take her out with 2 outs. After the delay, Caitlin Felton is going to come in relief. So if nothing else, I think Coach Bumelon also, that bought her some time to warm up Felton. So a 4-3 lead, BYU with the lead on the sacrifice fly RBI by Owens. It's second and third. Still 2 outs. Nice try to still get out of this inning. But again, all set up by the couple of defensive miscues. Birds on the ball dropped at left, and then remember the pass ball, which allowed Bejarano.
Crazy. Crazy. That was a big huff and puff and sigh from me. Just like, come on, man, because there have been some really pivotal defensive plays. Yesterday in right field, it's almost the right field, saga out here with BYU. A couple of errors in games 1 and 2. Of course, today, the error coming in left field on the missed catch, and you just wonder, like, come on, not umpires, come on, outfielders, make the play.
Well, Coach Bumelon,
and then umpires, though, having some,
an interesting game,
questionable calls here. Let's take a look at a couple.
Here's a couple of the plays here that we're talking about. Here's the ball that Burge into left.
Katie Burgess, again, the mishap. It was the hit by pitch, and she was kind of like, well, okay, caught off guard. So to me, that's it. When the umpire is making the call and the player that's a part of the call doesn't really realize that she got hit, that one's kind of fishy.
Maddie Udall at the plate takes ball 1. We got confirmation on the review. And that's fouled off.
But I think the interesting thing was that they weren't reviewing whether or not the runner on third left early. They're saying they were reviewing the runner on second having left early.
Who tagged the third.
Correct. Interesting.
Well, it's hard to tell because the umpire's pointing towards third, but that's just a generic safe bet deal.
Right.
But I did say it could be both runners. There's a swing and a miss. So you are able to review. So that doesn't surprise me as much. We did look at both. Either way, whatever. 1 and 2. Whatever. Let's just play ball. Let's just play ball. 1-2 count. There's a swing and a miss. Felton comes in and gets a strikeout to end the inning. But the Cougars regain the lead 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. As Caitlin Felton coming in, though, to keep it a 1-run game. Good job by Caitlin here on this pitch. They played them every year since 2006 through CUSA and the American, and now the Big 12. And, of course, midweek against FAU, then at Baylor, and then Bethune-Cookman on April 24th. Stormy Kotzelnick, the lead off here for the Knights. Swings to the first pitch, slices one to left, but Maddie Bejarano is there to make the catch. Good play by Maddie, gets the out, gets a hug from Zavotnik. 1 gone here in the 6th.
Stormy Kotzelnick squaring that ball up. That's a great piece of hitting. She has been so consistent hitting the ball on the nose the last couple of weeks, and that's why I think she's just one of the hottest hitters right now in this UCF lineup.
So Aubrey Evans will come to the plate against Kate Dolly. What do the Knights got to do here against Kate Dolly now, down a run?
Just challenge Dolly. She's just new coming into the game in the last inning, and so all they're looking to do is make her throw strikes over the zone, because what she's trying to do is get ahead, close out the game, right? The 1-run lead that she now has. She's trying to pump the zone.
Aubrey fouls it back. She'll be followed by Jazz Williams. And then they go to the top of the order for the Knights. 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, BYU. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for UCF in a game that's had a little bit of everything. 1-1. Aubrey high chopper to Akbayani. Who has time, will throw to first in time for Ailana Agbayani for the second out here in the sixth. So 2 gone. And they're going to pinch hit here for Jazz. It's going to be Kennedy Searcy, who walked in last night's game, will come in to pinch hit here for Jazz Williams, trying to give Kate Dolly a different look. So they enter Kennedy here.
And I like Coach Ball Malone giving Cersei some more opportunities, because we've talked about how crucial she's going to be throughout the next couple of weeks, couple of months, as UCF looks to make a run in the postseason. And Cersei's been a big part of this lineup that has been a large contributor but unable to play a lot this season just because of continued injury. And it's so frustrating as an athlete to have to battle through that, but just getting opportunities and contributing and being a part of it however you can, of course, you'll take it.
Want to know the count to Kennedy? Senior from Jacksonville. Stepping in here with nobody on, 2 out. Trying to get something going here for the Knights. Down to their last 4 outs. Kennedy muscles one into center for a hit. A 2-out single for Kennedy Searcy. Keeps the inning going for the Knights.
Great piece of hitting from Cersei, just coming in, doing a job. She knows it as the pinch hitter. Dolly's going to come right after her, trying to get ahead. And Cersei taking advantage of the first good pitches in the zone that she sees.
And now Jazz Williams will re-enter and run. So that's the beauty of this. Kennedy obviously not 100% to run the bases, but can hit. And gets the job done there with the single. Now Jazz re-enters. There has been action in the Cougars bullpen. So now the interesting question is, you got Janisha Rowe will come in, and I think that's one of the things Gordon Eakin's going to talk about here. Do you bring in an extra infielder with the runner at first?
It's just tough because with runners on first, right, if you're selling out, if you get beat, you will absolutely pay the price, the consequence, with that run likely coming in to score, because, again, anything getting to the wall or anything getting to the deep part of the field often allows the runner from first to potentially have the chance of scoring. So just all about selling out, having confidence in the pitcher in the circle to execute the pitches. So a lot of things that you've got to be able to trust to make that decision.
Well, then the other thing is what if Jazz decides to steal? Got to make sure you're on the same page.
Right.
But it looks
covering and
yeah.
what that looks
But
like.
it looks like BYU's going to stay with the normal defense, at least as far as the 4 infielders.
But look how close Lily Evans is playing over there at third base. She is selling out for the short game here from Rowe. And that's what I like. That's what I like to see. When you asked me, I think it was yesterday, Alex, if you're Janisha Rowe, what are you thinking in this moment? I was like, I want to hit it down their throats. And not just because I'm aggressive and I want to make them pay for trying to sell out, but Janisha Rowe standing in to swing at anything close that she sees.
She bunts it to the right side. Owens throws to first. Safe. Safe is the call. Rowe beats it out. It's first and second, 2 outs. Udall's making her case to try to get a review, I think. And I think Gordon Eakin as well. Let's look.
Look at the beautiful bunt execution. I love Janisha Rowe taking that one down the first base line because she knows that Lily Owens is going to have to try.
Under review. Alex, your favorite.
My favorite. Cue the Jeopardy music. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
There just has to be a way to speed this up.
Well, I wonder, do you go the football route where maybe you just have 2 challenges throughout the game, then that's it? And, it's tough. It's tough because after the certain part of the game, it's up to the umpires if they want to review it. So, but you're right. There's going to be some things that I think the rules are going to have to the softball committees are going to have to kind of address in the off season here.
You've got to, and I think maybe even just looking at some levels of consistency too, because you have a couple of conferences that relay the reviews in one capacity, then you have the Big 12 doing it in a different capacity.
Well, you do baseball games. They have review as well in
Correct.
college. How is the review process in baseball?
Well, last season, I haven't covered any games yet, my first one being this next weekend, but last season they run to a room real quick, and it's a very quick process, and they relay it well, and it's just not really arguable at that point, and so I think it's just much faster.
All right, take notes when you're calling FSU Miami next weekend and big college baseball rivalry there, and take notes when they go to replay. We can compare. So they review this play. It's a huge play coming up here because it's either going to be 2 on, 2 out, or the inning ends, depending on if they overturn it or not. And the question is, A, did she beat it out, and B, did she even held on to the ball?
Right.
It's a great effort by Owens. You see Coach Ball Malone talking to Shannon Sale. The GA, former Sooner, part of the National Championship Oklahoma team, 2021. Of course, you'll be seeing some familiar faces here at the end of the month when Oklahoma comes here. Here's the last play they're reviewing.
So again, 2 questions here. 1, did Janisha Rowe beat the throw? The answer is, in my opinion, no. And then 2, the second question of, did Udall have...
And the other question is it conclusive enough?
Right, exactly. Well, that's why the call on the field is so important. So he's going to say that she did not have possession, but it was less actually the angle in front. It was more the angle behind first base that I really liked, because here you do see the throw does beat Rowe down the line, but then it's a little tough to see the glove pattern took the glove down and back.
So Gordon Aiken still reviewing here. A big critical moment here at the bottom of the 6th. Here's another angle.
This is the angle. It's so
And they've
interesting.
overturned it.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
So they found enough on the play that was conclusive enough to overturn it and say Rowe is out. And with that, that ends the inning. We head to the 7th. BYU up 4-3. She was out and that Udall held on to the ball.
Some crazy stuff back and forth. The reviews have been, I feel like, just very controversial this whole weekend. And I don't want to say a debacle. That was the first word that came to mind, because it's been interesting. It's been tough. They've been very controversial and very close. I don't think anything has been definitely obvious, in my opinion. Impactful is a great
I gotta
word.
look up the dictionary what the conclusive means, because clearly I don't anymore. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. So 0-2 the count. We've seen some chain calls. It's been interesting. 0-2 the count to Agbayani. Here in the top of the 7th, 1 out. Felton outside for a ball. 1-2 the count to Ali Agbayani. He's 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. 1-2 from Felton. Agbayani grounds to third. That's a fair ball. Humphrey will one-hop throw. Perfectly executed to Doherty. They work on that play. Jen Salling, the defensive coach for the Knights, assistant, her second year, working there with the infielders, and you see it right there, working to perfection for the Knights.
And good job by Sarah Humphreys. Going to be working up the line there on the third base side. Got to throw across the diamond. That's so tough because, again, those throws can become airmailed. So.
And so now with 2 outs, Lily Owens, who's the difference in the game, had that sac fly back in the 6th that scored Maddie Bejarano to give BYU the lead. Or excuse me, Macy Simmons is at the plate. Pardon me, Simmons at the plate. With Ilana Agbayani on deck. 1-1. It's ball 2. 2-1 the count. 2 balls and a strike to Macy Simmons. Felton here in relief, trying to keep it a 1-run game with the 2-3-4 hitters scheduled to hit for the Knights in the 7th, with Doherty scheduled to lead off. A 1-run game. 3rd game of this series. BYU trying to salvage a game in this series. Knights trying to get a sweep. 2-2. That's hit foul by Simmons. Foul out of play. We've hit the 2-hour, 40-minute mark in the ball game. Just getting you warmed up for baseball next week now. That's all we're doing.
Right. I appreciate that. Thanks. Just give me a
Didn't you
good
call
level.
like a 19-inning baseball
Yes,
game a
it
couple
was-
years back?
Then I can use the word atrocious. That was atrocious.
What was it, 7 hours?
It was over 6.5 hours, yes. I was like, are you kidding me? It was my first ever baseball game. I was
Welcome.
like, what am I getting myself
Yeah,
into?
you wanted to get baseball. Here you go.
Welcome, Alex. Thanks for joining us. Not.
The 3-2 pitch. High ball 4, and Simmons draws a walk. As the Cougars trying to add on here, leading 4-3 in the 7th. Simmons draws the walk, and that brings up Ailana Akbayani. Coach Eakin's going to make a move, probably pinch run for Simmons. Yeah, that was like, it's 19, was it 19 innings? How many innings was
Yeah,
that?
no, it was 19 innings, yes.
'Cause I remember,
It was.
I checked in on you because I knew you were doing a baseball game. It was
Yes.
your first one, so I know I was supporting. I was being a friend.
Right, I appreciate that.
But I'll admit, I didn't stay for the whole game.
I don't think anybody really did.
Well, except I didn't realize you were still on the air like 6-7 hours later. I caught the beginning a little bit, and then I caught you at the end.
Well, you know what the worst part was? It was a Sunday. It was
Yeah.
game 3 of the series,
Which is-
and it went so long. I had to drive 5 hours home to try to get to work the next morning. I stopped midway through in Gainesville at like 12 a.m.
Goodness.
Stayed with my friend Amanda.
Ada Lorenz?
Yes,
D1
Amanda
softball
Lorenz.
podcast host. We all have podcasts nowadays.
I didn't even see her. Like that's how I didn't see her because she was already asleep. It was amazing. It was amazing. So grateful.
Oh, man. 0-1 the count to Akbayani. So I almost fell off my chair with that story. 0-2 the count. Well, if you're ever in a bind where, it is FSU Miami you're calling next week. Anything's
Yes.
possible. So if you get a 6-hour game and you need to call somebody, like just to get you through, I'll be up.
Okay, thanks.
I'm there for you. 0-2 the count. Runner at first, 2 outs. Felton. There's a swing and a miss. Akbayani strikes out to end the inning. Doesn't matter that the runner was going there. Jalen Lambert. As Felton gets a strikeout to inning. Last chance for the Knights. Here in the bottom of the 7th, BYU trying to close it out and get in the on-deck circle. She's going to hit second here with Shannon Doherty to lead it off against Kate Dolly, who throws a strike, 0-1 the count. 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for BYU. 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for UCF. It's Doherty, Cody, and Chloe Evans. 2, 3, 4 to hit. And Doherty fouls it off. So what's the approach here for the Knights here at the bottom of the 7th?
Well, UCF, this is exactly the spot they want to be in their lineup right now. Some of their biggest bats. The ability to make some difference here. Shannon Doherty had a hit her last time up, so looking to try to repeat now. Good opportunity at bat and really change the game, Eric. I mean, you talk power game, right? And that's what's the beauty about the middle part of the order is it could only take a couple of swings to really get some things going.
Morrow in to catch, by the way, for BYU here in the 7th. And she gets good frame there, but it's a ball. 1-2 to count to Doherty. Singled in her last at bat. Here in the bottom of the 7th. And now they're trying to confirm the count. That's what I think was the discussion there. Shannon Doherty at the plate here in the 7th. Takes a strike. It's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Doherty. Here in the bottom of the 7th. And it's Getaway Saturday. Final game of this series. Another nail biter, as you'd expect, getting used to now here in the Big 12. 2-2. Doherty hits it to Owens, who one-hopped it, and it went foul. Owens kind of leaned backwards there a little bit on that ball, and it died in front of her, went foul.
That was one of those line drives that look like they come off the bat kind of sharp, but then they just absolutely die. It's kind of deceptive, too, off the bat.
Very deceptive.
Because you're like, oh, it puts you on your heels for just a split second, and it comes in a lot slower than anticipated.
2-2. Doherty fouls it off to stay alive. 2-2 the count. To Shannon Doherty against Kate Daly, the freshman, who's in line for the victory here in relief. Goes high there, ball 3, 3-2 the count. Tense moments here at the Plex. Been a fun, wacky series, as we'd expect, between the Cougars and the Knights. First ever meeting between these two programs in softball. It's been memorable. The payoff pitch. High ball 4, and Doherty draws a walk to get on base. Huge, tough at bat, but Doherty gets on. Ball Malone is going to pinch run for Doherty.
Look at the excitement from Shannon Doherty. We've seen this in baseball a couple of times, Eric, with some walks and big moments and celebrations, and some of these NCAA baseball players getting thrown out for the excessive celebration, which is so silly to me. But
I saw that in the regionals last. That was absurd. Yeah, baseball.
Doherty is so excited there, but she knows that at bat was huge. Talk about getting somebody on it and putting people in situations here to come through.
Samantha Del Hoyo will pinch run for Doherty here at first base, with Jada Cody re-entering to hit here. So Cody, now the fellow super senior, to hit with a runner at first, nobody out here at the bottom of the 7th. And the crowd excited to see Cody hit here against Kate Daly. First pitch, high, ball 1. Time call. We're going to get a visit from the pitching coach here, Pete Meredith. You see Jada Cody here last night, Alex, with a big 2 RBI double.
Jada Cody came through big, down the line double there.
School record for most doubles in a career with 50. Janae Shinhoster played from 02 to 05. Teammate of Stephanie Best in that inaugural first 4 years. Very underrated player, kind of overshadowed because of all the accomplishments Stephanie had. But Shinhoster was a magnificent player in her own right. Meeting's over, 1-0 pitch. That's in the dirt. Nice block by Morrow. That's important. Remember, with Del Hoyo, good runner at first base.
This is like storybook situation here for UCF to be in a big moment. Game on the line, down a run, last inning. One of your best career hitters up in program history.
The 2-0. That is high, 3-0 to Jada Cody. Three balls, no strikes, the count here to Jada Cody with Del Hoyo at first. Kate Daly now with the 3-0. That gets in there for a strike. It's 3-1. Three-one pitch. Low ball 4 to walk to Cody, and it's 2 on, nobody out. Back-to-back walks for Kate Daly. There is action in the Cougars bullpen with Chloe Evans to the plate. The question now, if you're Cindy Balmont, do you consider bunting Chloe here to advance the 2 runners into scoring position, or do you let Chloe hit away? BYU's playing in, expecting here bunt, at least at the corners. First pitch to Chloe is ball 1, 1-0 the count.
Do you want my answer?
Yes.
Or, no, my answer is I would let Chloe Evans swing, and that's because being the lefty, too, I think it's easier situationally to pull a ball, worst case scenario, which could still do the same job as laying down a sacrifice bunt. So, hey, I'm going to let her hit.
The 1-0, Chloe takes the strike. You saw Gianna Amata is the one that's warming up in the bullpen for the Cougars. She started last night. There she is right there. A ball and a strike to Chloe Evans. It's a little roller to first. Udall will have one play, will go to first in time, but that basically works like a sacrifice for Chloe Evans as it advances both runners into scoring position, second and third, one out.
And that's where I think you have to take your chances and say, no, she's one of my hottest hitters, too. Overall, too, she's so consistent. Evans been forcing stuff the last couple of weeks, swinging out of the zone a bit more, but you still take your chances there, knowing that being a left-handed hitter, the odds are in your favor to even do something like that. She's ahead of the ball early on the swing, but still able to pull it and get the job done. She's been somebody that's come through really big in some crucial moments for UCF.
So Sona at the plate, second and third, one out here in the bottom of the seventh. First pitch, Sona hits a high fly ball, deep left field, but it's hooking foul. Hooked foul. She has the power, she had the length there, but it hooked foul. Oh, and 1 the count. The 0-1 pitch. Sona fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
Good job by Sona Holligen. Ready right now. So ready about anything coming in or close to the zone. She wants to try to capitalize as much as possible. That one was a good pitch, too, out of the hand of Dolly, going in on the hands of a really strong hitter in Holligen.
0-2 is outside. Try to see if Sona would chase. She did not. It's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, the count. Del Hoyo at third, Cody at second. One out here in the seventh. 1-2. Inside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. It is tense right now in both dugouts, Al.
So much excitement, so much passion.
Woo! Now I understand what you went through as a player. There's no drop dead time today. BYU ain't flying until the morning. 2-2. That's in the dirt. It's full. 3-2. Yeah, BYU does not leave tonight. They leave early in the morning, so no drop dead time here.
And that's an interesting note because normally in Game 3 that's not the case.
Right.
There's typically that
That's a great point, though, right? Because this normally would be around the time, for sure. The 3-2. Sona muscles one into left. That's going to drop for a hit. That's going to tie the game at Del Hoyo. They're going to send Cody. The throw home is an out. Ball Malone's arguing for an obstruction there on Morrow. Needless to say, nonetheless, it's a tie game as Sona delivers with an RBI single, and it's 4-4. The question is, was Cody obstructed with?
And more controversy. So Sona Holligen going to do a great job here. Letting that ball. The umpires are going to discuss, right? Of course.
It's funny you bring up the drop dead time. Our first game together. You remember our first game? Or what? The first weekend we worked together.
I'm trying to remember. This was years ago.
It was Wichita State 2021.
Yes,
It run the
on
clock.
that Sunday.
And it was a tie.
Yep.
It was a tie because we had the drop dead time, and it just so happens you know from experience what that was like.
Brutal. Yeah, I did. I hated tying, and the only reason we tied was because there was a drop dead time on the game.
It was an infamous tie in Nutter against Michigan, right?
Yes, it was a good game.
We'll leave it as there, and you see the UCF coaching staff.
The controversy here, it just debatable call. So
the hit by Sona.
We've got Del Hoyo easily coming.
And that's obviously a polarizing topic. We don't have time for that. My goodness. But by rule, that is obstruction. But it's all in the gray area, as we've learned.
I don't like the gray area. I want to operate in the black and white as much as possible.
Well, this is a huge call because if they call obstruction, this game's over and UCF wins. If it's not, then there's a runner on and a tie game. Either way, Sona by the way, delivers with a huge hit.
I'm just going to pose the question here because I think this could be a difference maker in the game of softball. Is if the obstruction rule creates a dead ball and the runner has to go back to the base, but they're not out, they don't automatically get to advance. That could be interesting because I think right now we do see a lot of coaches sending runners because they know that if obstruction is called, they get the run. So here you see on the left side of your screen the obstruction definition. And it says it is obstruction if the defensive player is blocking the whole base or the base path without the ball and or the runner does not have a path towards the base.
And they stay with the call. They say no obstruction.
And I think the differentiator there is without the ball, and the fact that Morrow had possession of the ball is the piece. So you see Jada Cody coming around. Morrow's receiving. There was no path, though. That is the arguable and controversial
Subjective.
piece, in my
It's a
opinion.
subjective. The call on the field was out, no obstruction. So you're not going to see a lot of reversals normally on a judgment call. So it's runner at first, 2 outs. It is a 4-4 game, by the way, and Sierra Humphreys takes the ball.
It's a big call. A couple of really pivotal games the last couple of days and some really important calls that were differentiators in the game. I wouldn't say that they were defining the game, but differentiators for sure.
1-0 to Sierra Humphreys. It's a grounded to third. That's a fair ball, and Owens will throw to first to end the inning. And we play on. Knights do tie it up on the Sona RBI single. But it is a 4-4 game through 7 on a Saturday afternoon at the Plex. Top of the 8th, a 4-4 game, extra innings, BYU and UCF. Some defensive changes for the Knights. Remember, they pinch ran for Doherty twice in this game, so Jada Cody will play first base and come in there defensively. The rest of the defense pretty much stays the same in a 4-4 game. So runner, it'll be coming up here for BYU. It'll be Maddie Bejarano will get to lead it off, followed by Zavatnik and Hunter Ava. 2-3-4 to hit. And hey, Maddie gets to hit another at-bat here at the Plex.
I think this is exactly where BYU wants to be as well.
Sure.
Bejarano is typically a pretty hot hitter, has been pretty quiet this weekend in the box for the Cougs, but somebody that has kind of earned that bank and come through big in several occasions throughout her career, both at BYU and here at UCF.
The PA, man, Alex Prieto playing Cody Rhodes' theme song here on WrestleMania Saturday. Which begs to ask the question in this game, who's going to finish the story in this game with a victory? To be determined. Here's Maddie Bejarano. How will her story here of the return finish? She leads it off here against Caitlin Felton. Takes the ball. Bejarano has a single in this game, and her last at-bat scored in the 6th inning. It gave BYU a 4-3 lead. She walked in the first, struck out looking in the 3rd, flew out in the 4th, singled in the 6th. The 1-0 is missed 2-0. Felton's falling behind Maddie Bejarano. And again, these two were teammates in 2022. That was Felton's freshman year. She saw Gianna Mancha and Kamal Woodall. Learned from them as those two carried the Knights through that super regional year, winning the American Conference regular season and tournament title. Bejarano takes a strike, and it's 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike is the count here. Bejarano hits it right back to Felton, who will underhand it to first to retire Maddie for the first out here in the 8th. And by the way, Maddie Bejarano has faced all 3 UCF pitchers that were her teammates in that 2022 season. Welcome back. See you later down the road. Zavatnik at the plate. Swings away. It's De Hoyo, who's in the game at left, gives it a look. By the way, Carson Fryer is catching. Third catcher of the game for the Knights. She was all freshman on that 2022 team, her and Felton. Trying to face the explosive Violet Zavachnik. She's had a big game. Walk in the first, walk in the third, single in the fifth, reached on an error in the sixth. Remember, that was the ball in the left field. Hitting here with nobody on, one out here in the eighth. One is 2-1 the count. How's your scorecard?
Pretty messy. A lot of scribbles, a lot of circles. You know, we're having a good time out here. It's free softball.
It's definitely free softball. And then some. As we've hit over the 3-hour mark in the game. 2-1. That's a grounder to second. Evans is there. Will throw to first in time to retire Zavachnik. 2 gone here in the eighth for Hunter Ava.
Good job by Felton coming into this game and just making a difference. Really efficient, too, in the pitch count here and how she's attacking the zone. Good defensive plays, routine plays by her infield. You've got to love the appreciation for a routine ground ball because sometimes that stuff can really come back and haunt you if you just overlook it and try to look past it. You get ahead of yourself, and that's when you start making careless mistakes.
Tarava at the plate. You see, she's had a big game. Flew out in the first, singled in the third, hit the 2-run homer in the fifth off the foul pole. And then hit by a pitch in the sixth. Hits one off Felton's glove. Fielded by Felton. Will throw to first in time to retire the side. Caitlin Felton works a 1-2-3 eighth. And sends us to the bottom of the eighth. Still tied at 4 here on this Saturday afternoon in Orlando. Taking on Kansas State. Game 2 of that 3-game baseball series. Knights won the game 1. Mark Daniel, Steven Branca on the call on that one. Stormy Kotzelnick here to lead it off. Takes ball 1. 1-0 the count to Kotzelnick. Will be followed by Aubrey Evans, Jazz Williams. 7-8-9 against Kate Dowley, the freshman. 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for BYU. 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for UCF. Kotzelnick slices one to left. That's going to drop for a hit. Zavachnik will play it off the wall. Stormy Torman in the second is in there with a leadoff double for Stormy Kotzelnick to open the Knights' 8th inning.
Stormy Kotzelnick, the hottest, most consistent hitter for this UCF squad, comes through big. A nice double to opposite field. I love the power.
First pitch to Aubrey. Swings away and drops a base hit to right field. Ball Malone is going to send Kotzelnick. She's going to score, and the Knights win it 5-4 as they sweep BYU on the walk-off RBI hit by Aubrey Evans, who's the hero for the Knights today.
Really good stuff overall from UCF. Came through big, responded, and so clutch from this offensive team. Stormy Kotzelnick getting things going. Aubrey Evans comes through with the timely swing. Look right there, Stormy Kotzelnick out of breath.